Stadium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, CBS Radio Sports presents the 1982 American League Championship Series. Hi, everybody. Along with Ernie Harwell, this is Denny Matthews, and we're getting set for the fifth and final game between the champions of the East, the Milwaukee Brewers, and the champions of the West, the California Angels. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Budweiser, by Honda, maker of Civics, Accords, and the Prelude, by Quasar Television, audio and appliance products, by the U.S. Army Reserve, and by Motorcraft Automotive Products.
Playoff games on WMAQ brought to you exclusively by Central Tire with 4 Chicagoland Michelin locations, with our newest location on Chicago's far south side, and by Chicago's newest sports team, the Chicago Blitz football team of the USFL.
Well, it's the day of decision in the American League. By tonight, we'll know the American League entry in the 1982 World Series. Will it be the California Angels, who won the first 2 games of the series in Anaheim and came swaggering into Milwaukee looking for a sweep? Or will it be the Milwaukee Brewers, who have taken the first 2 games here in Milwaukee and are endeavoring to become the first team in League Championship Series history to lose the first 2 games and then come back to win the series? Today's pitchers, Bruce Kieson for the Angels and Pete Vukovich for the Milwaukee Brewers. Kieson was the winning pitcher in game number 2 in Anaheim last Wednesday night, and Bruce has the opportunity to become the first 5-game winner in League Championship Series history. Pete Vukovich was the losing pitcher in the second game in Anaheim last Wednesday night, but Vukovich has a lifetime record of 5-1 against California. The weather today, much better than yesterday. It is cloudy and windy. We had a very pleasant morning. The temperature was up into the low 60s, but now since the clouds have moved in, why the temperature has fallen up to 60 degrees, and the wind is blowing from the right field corner toward the left field corner. We had a chance to visit with Angels third baseman Doug DeCinces down in the field, and we asked Doug what his thoughts were on the 5th final and deciding game.
We had to come here one-on-one, and in a 5-game series, 2 teams evenly as matched as this, it's come down to the 1 game.
What's the mood in the Angel clubhouse?
I'm very confident, and I'm not just saying that. All year long, this team has been a team of solid professionals, and we know what we have to do. We got to go out and win, and that's what we came here to do today.
It's a long season. Spring training seems a long time ago, and now it all comes down to this.
Well, that's, I had the experience of doing that in the 7th game of a World Series, and it all comes down to that final game, and it's just, all you can ask is go out there and do the best you can possibly do, put forth your best effort, and hope the chips fall on your side.
How about a little scouting report on Pete Vukovich?
Well, he's a very competitive pitcher, and he's been tough on me personally in my past, and I'm just going to try and make a few adjustments today and have a different approach in hitting him today.
Then Milwaukee third, Paul Molitor. I mentioned to him that today is the day of decision.
It really is. Either way you look at it, one team season is over after today's ball games, and you're talking about 2 teams that have battled back from adversity all year long, and it's a little bit ironic as you come down to one final ball game between these 2 clubs to decide who's going to represent the American League in the World Series.
Having been in the clubhouse just a few moments ago, are the Brewers as loose as ever?
Well, we're still awfully relaxed about it. We feel awfully good about our chances. We realize we're going to have to deal with the outcome one way or another, but we're just going to go out there and try and do what we've done all year, play good, aggressive, solid, fundamental baseball, and hopefully come out with one more victory.
Paul, I'm struck by the fact that really Cecil Cooper, Ben Ogilvy, Ted Simmons to a degree, Gorman Thomas to a degree, really haven't hit the way that they're capable of. Maybe that's a good omen for the Brewers, too.
Well, it is really, when you consider the fact that we still are 1 game away from, like I mentioned, being in the World Series, and yet we haven't had good output from some of our guys who have been our best offensive players all year long. And it really does show that we can count on our lineup from anywhere from the 1 spot right to the bottom of the lineup. Guys have been coming through for us. And even though we've had some trouble with the middle of our lineup during this series, we're still right where we want to be with a chance to win on the last day.
As a right-handed hitter, give us a little scouting report on Bruce Kieson.
Well, Bruce is a fine finesse pitcher. The fact that he can come at you from so many different angles, whether it be from straight overhand or dropping down to a submarine style, He'll throw away both his fastballs and his sliders from both positions, and he really just tries to keep the hitters off balance, especially on the right side of the plate. You really have to concentrate against a guy like him and be disciplined at the plate. Try to lay off that bad breaking ball, which he tries to get you go fishing after, which is usually ends up in the dirt somewhere.
And we'll continue in just a moment.
Sports Vision is on the air. Major League Sports in your home every day of the year. The White Sox, the Sting, the Bulls, the Blackhawks, and more at less than 70 cents a day. Order now and get tickets to home games worth up to $180.
Tonight on Sports Vision, see Sports View at 6 p.m., a lively one-hour talk show featuring sports personalities in the week in sports. Then at 7, the Chicago Bulls battle the New York Knicks in a preseason game. Don't miss the action. Call and order Sports Vision today at 693-9200.
When you're over your head in home repairs and improvements, put yours safely within reach with a UL-listed Werner ladder from True Value Hardware Stores. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you Werner Household Duty aluminum step ladders are specially designed with safety in mind. They feature sturdy bracing on the top and bottom steps, plus slip-resistant treads, and their pinch-proof spreaders provide safe, easy operation. Get a 5-foot Werner step ladder for just $28.88, or the 6-foot size for $31.88 at participating True Value Hardware Stores.
WMAQ.
Out come the umpires. The Brewers have just been given a tremendous ovation by the jam-packed folks here at County Stadium, Milwaukee. Gene Walk out there representing his ball club, and Ron Hansen has brought out Harvey Keene's batting order. And here are the lineups. For the Angels, Brian Downing will lead off and play in left field. Rod Carew will be at first base and bat second. In right field, hitting third, Reggie Jackson. Fred Lynn, having a tremendous series, will bat fourth and play in center field. The designated hitter, Don Baylor, hitting fifth. Doug DeCinces will play at third base, Doug hitting sixth. The Angels' second baseman is Bobby Grich. Hitting in the eighth spot and playing shortstop, Tim Foley. Batting nine and catching, Bob Boone. And the Angels pitcher, right-hander Bruce Keeson. Downing, Carew, and Jackson. Lynn, Baylor, DeCinces, Grich, Foley, Boone, and Bruce Keeson. Now for the Milwaukee Brewers. Paul Molitor will lead off and play third base. We'll continue with the Brewer lineup right after our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the thunderly light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rained clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We had just started giving in the Brewer lineup. Paul Molitor at third base leading off. Robin Yount will be at shortstop and hit second. Cecil Cooper at first base. Ted Simmons in the cleanup spot. Ted will do the catching. Ben Ogilvie in left field. Gorman Thomas will be in center. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, Don Money. Charlie Moore in right field, hitting eighth. At second base, Jim Gantner. And pitching for the Brewers, Pete Vukovich. Molitor, Yount, and Cooper. Simmons, Ogilvie, and Thomas. Money, Moore, and Gantner, with Pete Vukovich on the mound. The umpires, Don Denkinger back at the plate. Al Clark will be at first. Larry Barnett will call the plays at second, Bill Kunkel at third. Along the left field line, Richie Garcia. And on the right field line, Steve Palermo. There are the lineups, the umpires, and now let's pause for this word.
After the game, it's Jimmy Pearsall on WMAQ.
Channel 5 News brought you the facts about unscrupulous real estate shysters and exposed them as home snatchers.
I want my property in my own name, clear the way it was.
We brought you the truth when Commonwealth Edison looked the other way as contractors ripped them off and nuclear plant security proved inadequate.
You and your fellow guards couldn't stop them.
No, we'd be dead.
When disaster struck in the middle of Chicago and miles away in northern Indiana, Channel 5 News broke the story first before other TV stations even mentioned it.
This will be a very complex investigation. Things like this just shouldn't happen.
Whether it's foreign affairs or domestic issues, human interest, human tragedy, or human rights, whether it takes months to come together or minutes to come apart, you can depend on Channel 5 News. At noon, 4:30, 6, and 10. Channel 5 News. News that hits home.
WMAQ.
Peter Gammons, well-known sports writer for the Boston Globe and correspondent for the Sporting News, is here covering the playoffs. I asked Peter before the game what his thoughts were on this league championship series.
Of course, this is one of these great series where the two teams are so much alike. I still have my guess is going to be California, just because of their bullpens really rested, and I just have a funny feeling about Keeson.
The bullpens really haven't been much of a factor so far.
Not at all. And, of course, Gene Mark put Luis Sanchez in for an inning yesterday to give him a feel of this mound and get him prepared. Sanchez has been the best reliever on either team down the stretch, and I expect that we'll see him in there today, especially with Keeson coming off the 3 days rest.
Were you surprised when Ken Forsch was taken out of the rotation and Tommy John was asked to pitch with 3 days rest?
Yes, very surprised. And the more I think about it, I don't mean that in a second-guessing way. I was surprised in that I guess I thought about it this way. Tommy John I don't really think of as being the key point. The point is, do you want Forsch with a week's rest or Keeson with 3 days rest, which he hasn't done since 1979. And, Gene Mark feels he's a hot hand theory guy, and he believes that, you get your two best guys in there to win one game, and he may or may not be proved right. As he said, he wouldn't do it if Keeson had thrown 130 pitches last time, but he threw 89, and let's face it, Keeson is 32-8 in September and October.
What about Vukovich with 3 days rest?
Well, that's another question. I can understand why they have to go with him. I think Caldwell really hasn't pitched well his last 2 or 3 starts, and the question on Vukovich is even more. I mean, everyone's questioning Keeson's physical ability to come back, where he's had arm problems in the past, and he hasn't worked with 3 days rest in 79. But Vukovich has had some arm problems. Vukovich doesn't like to come back with 3 days rest, and he's even more of a question in some ways than Keeson. But those two guys have one thing in common: they're both almost maniacal competitors.
Biggest surprise in the first 4 games?
The pitching. I really think that both teams' pitchers have done an outstanding job, particularly pitching to the top guys in the line. When you look at the Brewers yesterday and their top 5 hitters get one meaningless single between them, that's good pitching.
Peter Gammons of the Boston Globe. The Brewers have taken the field, and what an ovation they get. The fans were charged up Friday. They were enthusiastic yesterday, but they are wildly enthusiastic here this afternoon. Ken Keltner, former Cleveland third baseman who is generally credited with stopping Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak in 1941, has thrown out the first pitch. And the Brewers now have taken their stations defensively. Milwaukee with an outfield of Ogilvie in left, Thomas in center, Charlie Moore in right, Paul Molitor at third, Robin Yount at short, Jim Gantner at second, Cecil Cooper at first, Vukovich pitching, and Ted Simmons back of the plate. The Angels will send up Brian Downing, Rod Carew, and Reggie Jackson. 60 degrees. The skies are overcast. The wind blowing across the field from the right field corner toward the left field corner. So it all comes down to this. The Angels have won the first 2 games. The Brewers able to bounce back and win the next 2. And we will have a decision today. And now set to bring you the play-by-play, here is the voice of the Detroit Tigers since 1960 and a Hall of Fame broadcaster. Here is Mr. Ernie Harwell.
Thank you, Denny Matthews. Hi again, everybody. And we've got a big one on our hands right here. Vukovic tuning up. The big right-hander who lost to his pitching rival in the second game of this series will start off against Brian Downing. Some doubt for a while about Downing whether he would be in the lineup. He hurt his leg, hurt his knee as he banged into the tarp roll chasing a foul fly yesterday, but he said, I've played them all and I'm not going to miss this one. He will be less than 100%. Downing in the series so far has had 2 hits in 15 turns at bat. He's a right-hand batter. He got his hit the first time at bat in the series, and he got a hit the last time at bat in the game yesterday. The outfield will be around toward left on him, and the infield back except for Molliday. Here's the first pitch. He takes the ball. It's outside. Don Denkinger umpiring behind the bat. Now time called by Don as Downing steps away for a moment. Outfield bunches toward the middle on him. Big breeze blowing across from right toward left. There's a strike. Fastball got the inside corner. Vukovic's number 1 pitch is his slider. He varies his speeds on it. Pretty good fastball, too. There's the slider that got the outside corner. Strike 2 on the leadoff man, Brian Downing. Vukovic also throws what he calls a dry spitter. He comes overhand, and the ball has quite a drop on it. Guess you would liken it to the old-fashioned drop. Mickey Lolich had that pitch on the Tigers' 68 championship team. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit the right field, slicing in the corner. Moore chasing, and it is a fair ball up against the wall. Downing going for 2. Moore fires it back into Gantner, and it is a lead-off double by Brian Downing of the Angels. Rod Carew will be the next batter, the left-hand batting first baseman. They usually play him around toward left. Rod with 3 hits in 14 trips in the series. Did not pick up a hit, you remember, in the first 2 games. Then he got 2 in the third game. He got 1 yesterday. They've got the infield in close. Molitor to the inner grass on Carew. The outfield to left. Vukovic, the big right-hander, goes to the set position and kicks and deals. It is a ball outside. Man on first. That's Downing, the leadoff man, double to the right field corner. So the Angels with a threat right away in this deciding game in Milwaukee. Set by Vukovic. He holds it. He looks to second. And the pitch. Carew swings. There's a slicing drive to left. Ogilvy coming over near the line, under it, waiting. Backs up, makes the catch. Downing starts for third and then heads on back to second and holds there. A slicing fly to the left field corner picked off by Ogilvy. And here is Reggie Jackson, who has 2 hits in 15 trips. 1 a home run and 1 a single. He has fanned 6 times. He and Gritch and Thomas all have 6 strikeouts against them. Vukovic into the set position. No score. First inning. Man on second base. 1 out. Reggie takes a wide one. Left-hand batter trying to resettle himself in there. They bunch up the middle on Reggie Jackson. And the infield is very deep on him. He gets jammed a lot with the high inside pitches. And some of the clubs work on him toward the outside. He's gotten a lot of that here in this series. The outside deliveries. Hitting the outside corner. Here's the pitch. It is in too close. And a low slider. The count is 2-0 on Reggie Jackson. No score first inning. The Angels have a man on second. The leadoff double by Downing. After which Carew hit a short fly to left that was picked off by Ogilvy. Time called at the plate by Denkinger, and Reggie resettles himself into the batter's box. Vukovic, the right-hander, takes his set position. He deals. Reggie swings. There's a line drive speared by Mullet to throw to second. Hits the Downing in the back. He comes to third now as the ball is chased down by Gattner in right field. It was a great catch by Molitor, diving for that ball to the glove side, and then he fired over to second base to try to double off Downing and hit Bryan in the back. The ball went into right field, and Downing was able to take third. So the arrow will be charged to the third baseman.
And Ernie, an ill-advised throw because Gattner was nowhere close to the bag. In fact, Brian Downing, scrambling back, was much closer to the base than was Jim Gattner, but really with 2 outs, Downing is not much better off at third than he would have been at second.
Here's Fred Lynn, the leading hitter in the series, at the plate, and he takes a breaking ball low. Fred has 8 hits in 14 trips. The record in a 5-game series is 11, held by Chris Chambliss in with the Yankees in 76. Vukovic into the windup, delivers, and Lynn takes a ball low, 2-0. Lynn's house in California in the path of one of those brush fires. He found that out yesterday. His family had to be evacuated. They are safe. Here's the 2-0 pitch. He takes a breaking ball in close. 3-0. He has not seen anything good enough to swing at yet. Man at third, Downing. No score, first inning. California with a threat. Vukovic winds and deals, and Lynn takes a slow one in for a strike call. That's the big let-up breaking ball from Vukovic. So the count on Fred Lynn is 3 balls and a strike. Left-hand batter waiting. Here's the pitch. Swing. There's a line drive, base hit to left field. In to score comes Downing, and California has a 1-0 lead. Ogilvy bobbles the ball, and on to second goes Lynn. He is safe at second base with 2 down, 1 run in. California leads Milwaukee in the first inning, 1-0. It'll be a single and an error. The error charged to Ogilvy. 2 errors now in the first inning, chargeable to the Brewers. And a 1-0 lead for the Angels. Here's Baylor, who has 10 RBIs to set a series record. 4 hits in 13 trips. He has hit for the cycle overall. There's a strike called on the big right-hand batter. 1 run, 2 hits for California. No runs, no hits, and 2 errors for Milwaukee in the opening inning. So the Californians jump in front 1-0. Vukovic ready to go to work again. And Baylor takes a fastball low, 1-1 on Don. Outfield deep to left on him. Now Vukovic to the set again. Baylor waiting on a 1-1 delivery. Swings a little chopper hit in front of the plate. Simmons out to grab it. Here's the throw to first. Got him, and the side retired. The Angels go ahead with 1 run, 2 hits. There were 2 errors, and 1 man left on base. And at the end of a half inning, California 1, Milwaukee coming to bat.
WMAQ. California leads 1-0. Milwaukee bats in the first inning. And this broadcast is presented
By authority of the Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Bruce Keyson, the right-hander, one-time Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher, obtained in the free agent draft for the California Angels, ready to go to work now. He beat his pitching rival Vukovic in the second game of this playoff series. Keyson coming off of surgery, a 13-month layoff, and has never lost a game in October. And he is a great pitcher in the playoffs. He has never lost a playoff game. He has a chance to become the first 5-game winner in the playoff history. It'll be Molitor to lead it off, followed by Robin Yount and Cecil Cooper. Incidentally, two fine leadoff men in this series, Molitor, the Brewers, and Downing of the Angels. Neither really casts in the mold of what you'd expect the typical leadoff man to be, because each hits a lot of home runs. You think more of people like Pete Rose and Phil Rizzuto and Sam Rice and Eddie Stanky, Earl Combs, Max Carey, all those great leadoff hitters, Donnie Bush, Joey Sewell, who did not have a lot of home run power. Now, Mr. Keyson has had a blister or a fingernail problem. It's really more of a fingernail problem than a blister. Is the fingernail on his pitching hand acts up. And there's some question about how long he can go, but Gene Mauch has everybody in readiness in this final game. Cloudy skies in Milwaukee, bright and sunny in the early morning, but the clouds have rolled in, and it is quite breezy and cool here. Well, the National League fans, Jack Buck and Jerry Coleman, will be on the air tonight at 8:15 Eastern Time, 7:15 Central, 5:15 Pacific, with game number 3 between the Braves and the Cardinals. So we hope you'll tune them in. Here's Molitor coming to bat. Molitor with 4 for 16 in the series. He has hit in every game except the one yesterday. Been one of the more consistent Brewer hitters. He had a couple of home runs for them. Each team, incidentally, has 4 home runs in this series. So Keyson ready to go to work. He's a slider sinker pitcher. Delivers, and there's the slider outside, ball 1. 1-0, California jumping out in front of the opening inning. Molitor trying to get it started for the Brewers. And he takes a breaking ball wide at 2-0, the count on Paul. Keyson leans in, winds again, and this one's a strike and above the knees. DeCinces charging in from third just in case Molitor wanted to lay one down. Foley's at shortstop, Gritch at second, Carew the first baseman. Now the 2-1 delivery. Molitor hits a line drive to left. It'll be in for a hit. Downing comes over to field the ball. Molitor going for 2, and he slides head first to double. Each leadoff man has come up with a 2-base hit. A very aggressive run there by Molitor. He saw that Downing was not getting to the ball very quickly on the sloppy turf out there, and he just kept on going.
Ernie, you could tell he was thinking 2 bases the moment he left the batter's box, and he wasn't about to be denied.
He did not hesitate a bit. Here's Robin Yount, who also has 4 hits in this series, 4 for 14 for Robin. He has not had an extra base hit, but he's had a hit in every game. And this home crowd coming to life now. Their heroes trail 1-0 behind the California Angels. But the Brewers have the leadoff man on second base. The set by Keyson. The pitch swung on and fouled to right. It'll be out of play in the seats, down in that right field corner. Keyson with a very fine slider. Ted Williams, when he first came up, had a lot of trouble with a slider. Said he learned to hit it, and then he used it as the pitch that he always zeroed in on, because it's halfway between the fastball and the curve. He would adjust for the slider, and then he could readjust depending on whether it was a curve or a fastball. Now here's Robin waiting on a strike 1 delivery. He takes a ball low, blocked out in front by Bob Boone. In the opening inning, California got a double from Downing. He stayed there when Carew flied to left. Then as Jackson lined to third base, good catch by Molitor. Molitor threw the ball to second, trying to double off Downing. He went to third, and then he scored on the base hit by Freddie Lynn. Robinette waiting. Here's Keeson's delivery. Swung on a bounding ball on one hard hop to Gritch. He'll throw to Carew. Got him, and on to third there goes Molitor. Gritch took a quick look at third on the hard hopper and then decided he better go to first base with it. That'll bring up Cooper. Had 2 hits in the series, and each one has been a double. See how they'll play the left-hand batting first baseman. A little bit toward right. They'll have the infield back. At this stage, Gene Mauch will give up a run in exchange for an out. Keeson trying to hold him off. He's got a 1-0 advantage. California ahead in the opening inning. And the right-handed deals. Cooper takes the fastball outside. California won the 2 games in their ballpark. Milwaukee has won the 2 games in their ballpark. And we get down to game number 5. And it's 1-0. The Angels lead in the first inning. Here's the pitch. Cooper swings and nubs a slow one toward third. DeCinces has it. Bluffs Molitor back, throws in time, and then the ball was dropped by Carew. So he'll be safe at first. He was called out at first. And then Al Clark went to the safe sign as Carew did not hold the low throw from DeCinces. Molitor had to hold it third. DeCinces bluffed Molitor back, but he took a little bit too much time, and then he threw low to Carew. That allowed Cooper to reach first base safely. We'll wait for the scorer's decision. It's an error charged to the third baseman. So already in the first inning, this game has seen 3 errors.
Ernie, both teams a little bit skitterish, and quite a deke that Paul Molitor put on DeCinces.
Here's Simmons batting left-handed, and he swings as they drive to right. Coming in hard is Jackson. He gloves it. Here's the tag at third by Molitor, headed home. He'll score. The game tied 1-1. Cooper holds it first. The game deadlocked 1-1 in the first inning. Jackson charged the line drive. It came off the bat of Simmons. He gloved it and then fired into Boone, but not in time to get Molitor, who had tagged and scored after the catch. It'll be a sacrifice for Ted Simmons. Cooper holding it first. And now Ben Ogilvie, who missed the game yesterday because of bruised ribs, will be the batter. Each team getting that leadoff man on a double. And then getting him home here in the opening inning. So we've got a 1-1 deadlock in the first inning at Milwaukee. And here comes Ogilvie, one hit and 11 trips in the series. Left-hand batting outfielder. Keeson delivers, and Ben taps one foul over toward the Milwaukee dugout. Outfield plays Ogilvie around toward right. He is definitely a pull hitter. They've got DeCinces very wide of the bag at third, and the shortstop Foley trying to close that gap up the middle. Second baseman Gritch way over to his glove side, and Carew holding on the bag with the runner at first base, Cooper. So Ben steps back in, and the right-hand Keeson deals, and Ogilvie takes a wide one, 1-1.
Ern, one thing's pretty obvious. The Milwaukee Brewers are getting much better cuts against Bruce Keeson in the early part of this game, as opposed to the cuts they were getting in the twilight and the shadows of Anaheim Stadium in the ballgame Wednesday night.
Well, right. It's a good background here, and they certainly aren't as tentative as they were in Anaheim. No question about that. 1-1 pitch. Swung on a bounding ball. Gloved by Carew. He'll make the play unassisted, and the inning is over. It is 1 run on 1 hit. 1 error, 1 man left, and at the end of 1, the game tied 1-1.
WMAQ.
I just had this fancy radio put in my Honda. But recently, I saw a Honda Civic hatchback that had a whole band in it. A young couple owned the Honda, and inside it, along with them, I counted 11 different musical instruments. Guitars, fiddles, banjos, even a washboard. They played folk music and were touring. So I said, do you have enough room in that Civic of yours? They said, yep. Well, do you know Honda makes other Civics? Yep. Have you seen the Honda Civic four-door sedan? Yep. It has a trunk, I said. Yep. Then how about a Honda Civic wagon? It has all the room you could want and rides as comfortably as a passenger car. Yep. Then they went on to say they were expanding their band and would probably get a Civic wagon. I smiled and said, I guess you folks could call it a bandwagon. Nope.
Monday on CBS TV, the greatest names in country music gather in Nashville, Tennessee to honor their peers at the 16th Annual Country Music Association Awards. Joining hosts Mac Davis and Barbara Mandrell will be Alabama, Janie Fricke, David Frizzell, Crystal Gale, Loretta Lynn, Ronnie Millsap, T.G. Shepard, and many more. Hear the greatest in country music. See your favorite stars and pick the winners at the 16th Annual Country Music Association Awards Monday at 9:30, 8:30 Central and Mountain on CBS TV.
1-1 tie. We go to the second inning in the final playoff game in the American League Championships. And the Angels come to bat against Vukovic with the Cincy to lead it off. Special greetings from all of us at CBS Radio to those of you around the world listening to the playoffs on Armed Forces Radio. Doug DeCinces will be leading it off. Doug, so far in this series, has picked up 3 hits in 15 trips. Had a hit in each of the first 3 games, but he was collared in the game yesterday. He has sustained a broken nose. The 6th time in his baseball career he has busted that beak. Vukovic ready to go to work. It was a shaky, sloppy first inning. A lot of excitement, 1-1. There's a bunt toward third, a beauty. Molina picks it up. He's got no play, and Cincy has a bunt single down the third base side. Bobby Grich will be the next man to bat. Bobby's had 3 hits also in the series, 3 for 12. But he's gone without a hit in the last 8 trips. And in the series, he has fanned 6 times. Angels jumped out with 1, and the Milwaukee's came right back and tied him with 1. That was the story in the first inning. Now here's Grich at the plate waiting on Vukovic. The big right-hander delivers. It is a bunt stance, but he does not offer. Vukovic came here from the Cardinals in the deal along with Simmons and Fingers. He had previously belonged to Toronto and also the White Sox. Big guy lobs one over to first base, but no damage there. DeCinces back easily. Here's the set by Vukovic. He holds it at the belt, and he delivers. Grich bunts the ball. It's foul back at the plate. 1-1 on Bobby. Vukovic went from Chicago to Toronto, you may remember, in the expansion draft. He was not one of the favorites of Paul Richards, who was the boss there at Chicago. It was said that Mr. Richards resented the so-called hippie image that Vukovic displayed at that time. Now the big guy goes to the set position and flips another one over to first base, and back again is DeCinces. Grich stands deep, feet close together. They've got Molitor into the inner grass. Here's another throw to first. No damage. Wind is subsiding slightly, I think. Still blowing in the same direction from the right field corner toward the left. Here's a pitch. He squares to bunt, and this one is in too tight. 2-1, the count on Bobby Grich. Tim Foley waiting at the on-deck circle. Overcast skies today after a lot of sunshine this morning. Cooper trying to hold on the bag over there at first base. with the runner DeCinces. Now DeCinces goes, and it is outside the throw to second. He is out at second base. Gantner puts the tag on him as DeCinces slid in head first. Simmons cut him down. One out, nobody on, and a 3-1 count on Bobby Grich. Great throw by Simmons. He had it right on target, so Gantner could hold the ball down, and the runner slide right in. Grich swings and misses on the slider. 3-2, the count on Bobby Grich. 1-1 the score, second inning. Now Bob steps out, gets back in there. He chokes that bat just a little bit. Time called. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and Grich swings as they drive to left, and it'll go foul down toward the tarp row. Bobby broke his bat. He wants another one. The Angels are planning to stay here. Should they win, then they've got to sort of see where they'll have to go to play in the World Series, and they'll have their celebration at the hotel here in Milwaukee. If the Brewers win, they can celebrate right at home.
Well, Ernie, the Cardinals could wrap it up tonight in Atlanta. That'd be a 3-game sweep, and their series would finish just along with the American League.
There's a cut and a miss. He struck him out. Got him with a fastball. 2 down, and Tim Foley will be the batter. The Yankees clinched the pennant as they usually did back in the 20s. Very early in September, Babe Ruth wanted to have a party. He called room service for a piano. They didn't have one. He went out and bought one. Here's Foley, and he takes a fastball high, ball 1. Tim with 2 for 13 in the series, and there's a strike called, 1-1.
Ernie, I wasn't aware that Babe Ruth ever partied.
Oh, well, you didn't go to any of those parties with him?
I thought you did.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Here's the strike call. Somebody told me that he had a check for an endorsement one time, $25,000 check. He never cashed it. He just kept it in his pocket. Fastball high, and it is a 2-2 count on Foley.
Angel coach Jimmy Reese could tell you some Babe Ruth stories, couldn't he?
Oh, yes, sir. He sure can. He's a beauty. 2-2 pitch is a low one, and the count is full on Foley. We've got a 1-1 tie, second inning, California, Milwaukee. Vukovich working quickly, and he got him on strikes. He lost the bat. It went out toward the mound. Foley is out on strikes. 5 retired, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. At the end of 1 1/2 innings, the game tied 1-1.
WMAQ.
For the agent who has all the insurance most families need and all in one place, check with State Farm. That's why so many families come to State Farm and stick with State Farm. All the kinds of protection you need are right there in one convenient place. Life, health, homeowners, and auto. And so is the agent who'll give you prompt personal service on all those different policies. Check your yellow pages today and call the State Farm agent near you.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This fall from Motorcraft. Get up to $9.50 in refunds on some of the highest quality automotive products you can buy for any make of car. Save up to $4 on Motorcraft spark plugs and $1 on Motorcraft oil and air filters. Save $1.50 on 5 quarts of Motorcraft oil. Plus, get $2 in bonus refunds on qualifying purchases. See your Motorcraft retailer for details now through November 30th. Motorcraft automotive products from Ford for the future of your car, for sure.
Well, if the Braves and the Cards complete their National League Playoff Series by tomorrow, the World Series will get underway as scheduled Tuesday evening at 8:10 Eastern Time on CBS Radio. Ben Scully will handle the play-by-play. Sparky Anderson will have analysis for you. Win Elliott will add his pregame and postgame reports. So listen here for the 1982 World Series beginning Tuesday, if possible, at 8:10 Eastern Time on most of these same stations. Keeson ready to go to work. It is a 1-1 deadlock. The Brewers are batting in the second here in Milwaukee in the fifth and final game of the playoff series. And Gorman Thomas, who's had only one hit in 12 trips, will be the batter. That one hit was a home run, his first time at bat. Gorman hurt his knee yesterday when he slid in to the plate and was a very doubtful starter. In fact, Harvey Keene waited quite a while before deciding that Gorman would play. Gorman insisted that he should be in the lineup, and he wants to give it a go here in this final game. He has struck out 6 times in the series so far. Big right-hand batter from South Carolina. Pitch him in with hard stuff and mix. Gorman considered a premier guess hitter. And when he guesses right, well, you got to guess the ball's going a long way. Keeson, the thin right-hander, looks him over. We've got a 1-1 deadlock in the second inning. The windup and the pitch to Thomas. It is a strike on the outside corner. He looked at a fastball. Don Money will bat next, and then it'll be Charlie Moore. There's a fastball low, 1-1 on Thomas. Stands deep, closed stance, waits now on the right-hander Keeson. Here's the motion by Bruce. The pitch swung on, a bounding ball to third, and it is a foul ball just outside the bag. Glove there by DeCinces, so Thomas will have to come on back. Gorman said that the real problem he might have today would be concentrated in sliding mostly. He thought he could run fairly well.
Ernie, we mentioned yesterday when he made his slide at the plate, it was a very awkward-looking slide, and that's really how you can get hurt. Players, a little bit of indecision whether to slide or whether to stand, and a lot of broken ankles and legs because of that indecision.
1-1 tie. Here's Thomas back in the batter's box now, waiting on the 1-2 pitch from the right-hander Keeson. He swings a little tapper past the mound to Gritch. He charges. He flips it over to Carew, and there's one away.
And he didn't run down the first baseline very well at all. He's kind of dragging that leg.
Yep. Having trouble with it, no question about that. Here is Don Money now, the veteran point of service on this team. 35-year-old DH. Money has been about 7 times in the series and picked up a couple of hits. Right-hander against the right-hander. The sun trying to break through the overcast now. And that breeze is still blowing from the right field corner toward the left. We've got a 1-1 deadlock in Milwaukee, second inning. Money looks, and it is a fastball outside. Keeson delivers, and there's a strike on the inside corner. 1-1. Money seems to like the pitches away from him. Stands deep. Each team picked up a single run in the opening inning. Each leadoff man led up with a double and then came around to score. Now the motion and the pitch. Good breaking ball. Got over on the inside corner. He sort of ducked away from that one, and it hit the corner on him. 1-2, the count on Mr. Money. Outfield pull to left. And the sidearm pitch gets him swinging. That's the first time Keeson's come that way out of third base. And he fooled him with a fastball. The first strikeout for Bruce. 2 down, nobody on in the Milwaukee second inning. A 1-1 tie. And here comes Charlie Moore. He's been effective with the bat. 5 for 10. Now the sun has broken through, and we'll begin to get some of those shadows that we told you about the first day. Outfield will be straight away on Charlie. He opens up that stance just slightly. Right-hand batting right fielder pops it up out into short right. Here comes Reggie Jackson in. Going back is Gritch, and Reggie's there. Lynn's there, and it is finally Lynn to take it away from the other two. 1-3 go the Brewers in the second inning, and at the end of 2 in Milwaukee, the game deadlocked 1-1.
Central Tire keeps you on the road. Central Tire has brand names you know.
Like Michelin, who invites you to the grand opening of Central Tire's 4th location. Save up to 40% on Michelin tires during Central Tire's grand opening specials. Save on all passenger and light truck tires for vans, pickups, and RVs. All tire purchases include free mounting and free balancing. Save up to 40% on all Michelin tires during Central Tire's grand opening celebration. See Thursday Sun Times for more details. Michelin, the quality radial tire designed to deliver fuel savings over bias ply, long mileage, and precise handling.
Central Tire has a price for you. Central Tire's there with follow through. We'll fit your car with the best deal in town. At Central Tire, we're always around. At Central Tire, we're always around. Central Tire.
Central Tire, with their newest Michelin location just off the Calumet Expressway on Dolly at 115th Street.
WMAQ.
1-1 tie. We go into the third inning now. Vukovic on the mound. The Angels coming to bat, and Bob Boone will lead it off for the California. Now let's pause 5 seconds for the stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio
It's
network.
Jimmy Pearsall after the game on 67 WMAQ Chicago.
Bob Boone, the veteran catcher who's done such a great job handling the pitchers and directing the ball game for the Angels this year, will be the batter now leading it off. He's the number 9 hitter in Gene Mock's batting order. Bob with a couple of hits in 13 trips, one of them a home run, that much disputed home run here in Milwaukee. Vukovic on the mound, the big right-hander, ready to go into action, and he winds and delivers. Boone takes a pass ball outside, ball 1. Each team with a run in the opening inning, and it is now the third in Milwaukee. Line shot, base hit between the Yount and the bag at second. And Bob Boone leads off the third for the Angels with a single. That will be their 4th hit. And here's the man who got the first one and scored the run for the Angels, Brian Downing. See how they'll set the infield. Molitor will come into the intergrass. He'll have the Keystone combination, Yount and Gantner, up about halfway. Cooper will hold on the bag. Downing opens up that stance facing Vukovic. It is a 1-1 tie in the third. Now Bryan squares the bunt. He bunts toward first base. Cooper comes in, fields the ball. Here's the throw to Gantner covering the bag at first. It's a sacrifice. On to second moves Bob Boone. A neat bunt by Downing. That'll bring to bat Rod Carew, the perennial batting champion, who had a fly ball to left picked off by Ogilvy in the opening inning. And again, they're playing Carew to hit the left. Boone coming down the line from second. Not a very fleet base runner, Bob Boone. Vukovic ready to go. We've got a tie game, 1-1 in the third. A man on second for the Angels and one man out. He moved him back with an inside slow pitch. Ball 1, the count on Rodney. Another open stance hitter, very relaxed at the plate, waiting on the pitch from Vukovic. Here it comes. He takes a fastball outside, 2-0. Carew, Jackson, and Lynn, all left-hand batters here in a row after the leadoff man Downing. And they go back to all right-hand hitters. Here's the set by Book. He pitches. It is a breaking ball over, but low. Ball 3. Boone trying to establish a little bit of a lead at second. He's not getting off very far. Now the check of the sign by Pete Vukovic. And the pitch. It is high, ball 4. He walks it. That's the first walk for the Angels. Puts a man on first and a man on second. And Reggie Jackson coming to bat. Reggie hit a vicious line drive to the left side of the infield that Molina speared in the opening inning. So he's 0 for 1 for the afternoon. He holds the playoff record for most hits in a career with 32. He's played in 10 playoff series and holds the record in that department, too. Left-handed batter waiting on Vukovich. 2 men on, 1 man down. And he swings at the bounding ball is foul outside of first base. Cooper made a diving effort behind the bag. Al Clark, the first base umpire, waving if the ball was in foul territory. And I think we'll have to see Jackson get a new bat here. He broke that one. This one's starting out as if it might belong to the hitters sooner or later. Each team picking up a run in the opening inning. And right now the totals into the third inning with the California at bat in the first half. The third, 1 run, 4 hits for California, 1 run, 1 hit for Milwaukee.
Ernie, Pete Vukovich has been pitching from the stretch position almost the entire game. Brian Downing doubled in the first inning. A bunt single by DeSensei to start the second, and now the single by Bob Boone to start the third.
Get that leadoff man in each of the first 3 innings. He had picked up his pitching pace, though. The second inning, he struck out Grich and Foley. He was going back to that pace we were talking about earlier in the second game when he got in the groove. But now he slowed up again with the runners on base. Carew at first, Boone at second, Jackson at the plate. Strike 1 pitch coming to Reggie. And he backed up, but inside fastball. He jammed him up close. And the count on Reg is 1-1. Sun once again has deserted us. It's overcast in Milwaukee. Jackson waits on a 1-1 delivery from Vukovich. Here it comes. He swings and hits a foul down to the plate. The ball came up and hit him and then bounded out in front. And Don Denkinger, the plate umpire, will look it over. Two managers bringing their teams this far. One, a gentleman who had managed 22 years in the major leagues before this year. The other one who was not even the manager when the season started, Harvey Keene. He took over in June. Two contrasting situations in the managerial department. Bob Buck Rogers started the managing of the Milwaukee's this year. Here's Reggie now waiting. And the 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. He got him on a high, hard one. Probably out of the strike zone. He went for the high fastball. Seventh time in the series Reggie has fanned. More than any other batter. It's the third strike of the game for Vukovich. Here's Fred Lynn, who's been the hottest hitter. He had a single his first time up. He has 9 hits now in 15 trips. Left-hand batter facing the right-handed Vukovich. The game tied 1-1 in the third inning. Lynn takes a breaking ball in for a strike. The highest batting average on record in the playoff series in 5 games is Chris Chambliss at .524. Lynn started with a higher average than that, and he's 1 for 1 in this game. He was .571 when the day got underway. Now the strike 1 pitch coming up to Fred. Here it is. He swings and taps a little roller foul. Lynn now figures out to an even .600 for the series. Right now, Vukovich has 2 strikes on him. Fred's single in the first inning got the California run home, getting Downing in from third. Now he's got a chance to deliver a tiebreaker, but he faces a strike 2 count. Here's the set by Vukovic. And the big right-hander holds it. And now here's a bounding ball to left. It'll be a base hit. Coming around third now is Boone. He's headed home. The ball gets by Ogilvy. Boone will score. On to second will go Lynn. And holding at third is Rod Carew. And a 2-1 lead for California. Ogilvy charged the ball and got his glove on it. And will be charged with an error. It'll be an RBI for Fred Lynn as he gets his second hit. He drives in his second run. And Ogilvy is charged with his second error. All within the first 3 innings. And the Californians have gone in front again. Now it is 2-1 their favor. And Don Baylor, their big RBI man at the plate. Vukovic ready to go to work. Runners at second and third with 2 down. And Baylor cuts and misses on a slider. Three Milwaukee errors, 1 error by California so far. Outfield deep to left on Baylor. The infield back with 2 out. Vukovic delivers. Here's a fastball. He checks his swing. 1-1 the count on Don.
Ernie, Fred Lynn has done a beautiful job of going the other field against Pete Vukovic the first 2 times up, and it looks like Fred has gone up there looking to the opposite field. He had that in mind when he stepped to the plate.
Now Vukovic is ready. 1-1 pitch. Swung on. There's a high fly ball. Short left. Going back is Yount. Ogilvy behind him. They're both there, and Yount makes the catch to retire the side. The Californians take the lead. They get 1 run, 2 hits and a walk, 1 error, 2 runners are left. We go to the last half, the third. California 2, Milwaukee 1.
WMAQ.
Delco Electronics presents the car radio of the future, the ETR.
The ETR? Well, even though a majority of people said they were in favor of the amendment,
No.
the ETR didn't get enough votes.
I think you're confused. ETR stands for Delco GM's electronically tuned receiver.
Is it good for women?
It's good for any woman or man who wants a car radio that electronically locks in the station precisely.
Oh.
No more twisting the dial back and forth.
I'll ratify that.
Good, there's more. The yellow digital readout shows you precisely what station you're on.
Do the little yellow numbers come in any other colors?
No, well, there are a few with red.
I see.
The ETR even has a memory. It reverts to the last station you were listening to when you changed AM or FM band.
My memory should be so good. Just don't give me any more to remember, okay?
Okay. Hear the Delco GM ETR at your Chevrolet, Pontiac, Buick, Oldsmobile, Cadillac, or GMC truck dealer.
I said don't give me any more to remember, didn't I?
California leading 2-1. The Milwaukee's come to bat now in the third at County Stadium, Milwaukee. A 2-1 count. It'll be Gattner, then Molitor, and Robin Yount in the third inning against Keeson. Talking about managers and Mr. Keene taking over for Buck Rogers to be the second manager. There have never been more than 3 managers for a big league ball club in modern baseball. In one season, quite a few clubs have had as many as 3. But the old Louisville team in the American Association, which was a big league then back in the 80s, had 7 managers in 1 year. That doesn't count the sports writers who managed. Here's Jim Gattner to lead it off. Jim with 2 for 14 in the series, and the left-hand batting second baseman takes the ball in too close. Here's a fellow who I think, Denny, is very much underrated.
Yeah, it really is. Remember how everybody said Joe Rudy was underrated when he played with those great Oakland teams?
He could always beat you. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Gattner. It's off the mid of Boone. It's ball 2. I remember a game in Oakland broadcasting for the Tigers. Rudy was at a reserve meeting, and we thought he was out of the lineup, and all of a sudden he showed up in the 8th inning in a pinch-hitting situation, hit a home run, and beat Detroit.
I can still remember the catch he made against the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series.
A beauty. Here's a pitch outside. 3-0. And he had a big home run in the World Series, too, didn't he? Off Mike Marshall, I believe.
Game winner, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And he takes a wide one. Ball 4. Gantner leads it off for the base on ball. That's the first walk issued on the California right-hander Keeson. And here comes the Brewer, who has the only hit for Milwaukee, Paul Molitor. He got his 5th hit when he doubled in the first inning and then came around to score. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Angels. The Brewers have 1 run and 1 hit. Molitor is an excellent bunter. DeCinces just about even with the bag at third. They've got Carew holding at first base with Gantner. And Molitor bunts the ball. It's foul back at the plate in the dirt. Capacity crowd here in this stadium. Now, strangely enough, they had a bigger announced crowd yesterday in all that rain and delay than they had in the beautiful weather the first game. I think it was a matter of the tickets sold rather than who showed up. Molitor digging in, waiting on Bruce Keeson. And Bruce sets and deals. Here's a swing and a miss. He couldn't get to the fastball. Now, Keeson walking around on the third base side of the mound in a semicircle. Molitor stands deep and generally is a good curveball hitter. He likes the ball out over the plate, as most do. Strike 2 count on him. Here's the pitch. He swings and fouls it off in the dirt back of the plate. Well, you have to give a guy like Bruce Keeson a lot of credit. Elbow surgery, arm problems, 13 months out of action, rehabilitation, coming back. And even this year had a tough injury, came back off it. Then they put him in the bullpen, didn't they? And he came back as a starter.
He was a little bit perplexed about why they did put him in the bullpen, but they said he did his work down there and took advantage of the opportunity when he was put back into the rotation.
Here's a pitch in too close on Molitor, the fastball from Keeson, and the count now is 1 ball to 2 strikes. 2-1, California leads Milwaukee. 3rd inning at County Stadium, Milwaukee. The playoff series even with 2 victories apiece. Here's the set now by Keeson, and the pitch on the way. Molitor fouls it away. He fought that one off. That was a tough pitch right in on the hands, and he gave it a real battle. No sunshine right now. It didn't last very long here. Probably about 30 seconds of sun. There's a big enthusiastic crowd of Milwaukee Brewer fans. Here's the flip over to first base to Carew, and back in plenty of time is Gantner. So let's see what Molitor will get with a 1-2 pitch coming. Gantner trying to edge off, lengthen his lead at first base. Here's the set. Here's the pitch. He swings and a bounding ball to left for a base hit. Gantner holds at second. The ball picked up by Downing, and the Brewers have something brewing again. They've got a man on first and a man on second and nobody down. A walk followed by Molitor's second hit. 2 hits for Milwaukee. Molitor has both.
And Ernie, now we have a very interesting situation. The meat of the Milwaukee Brewer batting order really hasn't done much so far in this series. Now with 2 on and nobody out, Yount, Cooper, and Simmons coming up. Then Ogilvie would follow Ted Simmons. Yount is yet to drive in a run. Simmons is yet to drive in a run. Then Ogilvie is yet to drive in a run. So we'll see what happens.
Well, the table's set. We'll just see what kind of an appetite these guys have. Here's Yount. They're looking for the bunt from him. 2 men on, nobody down. Here's the set, and he takes a fastball in too close.
Simmons without an RBI going into this game. He drove in the first run, of course, in this contest.
Yeah, he got one with that sacrifice to Jackson in right field in the first inning. Now, Yount looks down to Warner, the third base coach, gets back in the batter's box. Gantner on second, Molitor on first. Robin swings a bounding ball to third. Gritch touches third for one, throw to second for two, and that's all they'll get. They came close to getting three. It is a double play as the front two men are eliminated. That was a hard smash to DeCincy. He grabbed the ball, tagged third, threw to Gritch for the second one, and then Gritch almost started to relay to Carew. He held on to the ball. Otherwise, if a little quicker work, they might have had three. But they had a tough man to triple up, as they say. But it's 2 out and a big double play on the Angels side there. Here's Cooper. So Mr. Keene eschewed the bunt there, let him hit away, and it turned into a DP. Coop at the plate. Robin Yount, good runner at first base. There he goes. The pitch is swung on and fouled away. He had a good jump. Keeson has a pretty good move, but once he starts his movement toward the plate, they can get going pretty well on him.
And Robin read that move very well, Ernie. He was off and flying towards second base, and I know that he's a little bit disappointed that Coop fouled the pitch away because he had second base flight.
Carew comes over to say something to his pitcher, Keeson.
Such as, hey, give me a look over here. He had too big a jump there.
Here's Cooper at the plate now. Strike one. The count on him. 2-1. California leads Milwaukee in the last half the third. There he goes. The pitch is swung on and fouled away again. Well, Robin will have to come back once again. Cooper was safe on the error by DeCincy in the opening inning. That was a ground ball hit to DeCincy. He hesitated, bluffing Molitor back to third, and then he threw low, and Carew couldn't hold it at first.
Ernie, Robin didn't have quite as good a jump as he did on the first pitch that Keeson threw because Keeson held the ball just a little bit longer. In other words, he froze Robin Yount, as they say, and he didn't have quite the jump that he had on the first one.
Now he edges off again. Here's Cooper waiting. And Yount doesn't go. Coop takes the ball in the dirt. A good pickup by Boone. He just one-handed that one beautifully. One of the ways that most baseball people judge catches is how does he handle that low pitch. That's fairly basic. 2 runs, 5 hits for California. They've made 1 error. Milwaukee 1 run, 2 hits, and they've made 3 errors. Now Cooper's stepping out. The wind is kicking up some dust around there. Mr. DeCincy picks up a Bratwurst wrapper and puts it in his pocket. Whitey Ford picked up a piece of paper one time at Boston, and you talk about Yankee luck, it turned out to be a $2 bill.
And Dick Stewart picked up a hot dog wrapper, and he got a standing ovation from the folks at Fenway for picking up anything.
Stopped in a week. Here's the... Nope, he's not going to throw the 1-2 pitch. Keeson's going to step off. Robin Yount trying to get a lead at first base. Now the set. Keeson delivers, and Cooper takes a fastball wide. 2-2 the count on Coop. California leads it 2-1, third inning. Keeson breathing a little easier than he did at first in this inning. He walked the Gantner, then a single by Molitor set up 2 men on, nobody out, but the Angels picked up a double play behind him. And now he works against Cooper. 2-2 pitch. Coop swings and misses. He struck him out on a low outside fastball. So Keeson gets his second strikeout of the game, and the threat for the Brewers is over thanks to the Angel double play. No runs, 1 hit, a walk, no errors, and 1 man left, and we move along into the 4th inning. It is California 2, Milwaukee 1.
WMAQ. At Anheuser-Busch, we gave our brewmasters this challenge. Brew a light beer worthy of the king of beers. One with a clean, distinctive taste. Budweiser Light lives up to the challenge.
Bring out your best. Bring out your best. Bring out your best.
They brewed this beer with the best ingredients and with Beechwood aging made famous by the king. You'll taste the best in Budweiser Light.
Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light.
To brew Budweiser Light, our brewmasters knew it would take time, patience, and skill. They knew the best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
What's it like to own a Buick Riviera? Well, remember when you were maybe 9 or 10 and you'd get a chance to ride in the front seat of your dad's car with all those wonderful buttons and dials around you, and everything, including you, seemed larger than life? That's kind of what it's like. The Buick Riviera, a technologically advanced, marvelously equipped, incredibly handsome, luxurious road car with the almost magical ability to make otherwise rational, mature adults feel like kids again.
Doug DeCinces leading off for the Angels in their fourth inning, and his team, California, ahead 2-1. The Eastern Division has won 9 of these playoff games out of 13, and they have won 6 out of the last 7. Kansas City won in 1980. And here's Doug DeCinces with a single in one trip. He had a beautiful bunt down the third base side. And he takes a fastball from Vukovich. It's high ball 1. 2 runs and 5 hits for California. They've made 1 error. The Milwaukee team 1 run, 2 hits, and they've made 3 errors. Doug swings and hits a little foul ball on the ground over past the Milwaukee dugout. 1-1, they count on DeCinces. Mr. Denkinger dusting off the plate for a moment. Fred Lynn has 2 hits, Downing 1. DeCinces 1 and Boone 1 for the total of 5 for California. Milwaukee's 2 hits belong to 1 man, Mollinan. Fastball in close, and he backed away. It's ball 2. 2-1 the count. Second time in the series, Vukovich and Keeson have pitched against each other. Here's a line shot to left. It is a fair ball in the corner. Bouncing to the glove of Ogilvie, who plays the carom, fires it into second, not in time, and a double. DeCinces leads off in the California fourth inning with a double. That's his second hit. Bobby Grich will be the next man up there for the Angels. He struck out his first time at bat.
Well, Ernie, the leadoff man has reached base in this game in every single half inning, with the exception of the Milwaukee second when Gorman Thomas grounded out to the second baseman, Bobby Grich.
And they've moved around 3 times. 2 runs for California, 1 for Milwaukee. Let's see what Grich is going to do to try to move DeCinces to third or farther. Infield is in close on Bobby. Outfield is straight away. Now the set by the right hand of Vukovich, and he kicks and deals. There's a swing and a miss. Slayton and McClure, 1 of each in the Harvey Keene's bullpen. Slayton's a right-hander. Strike 1 on Grich. Vukovich is ready, holds it at the belt. Delivers. Here's a bunt toward first base. Cooper feels it. He'll tag the runner coming down the line. Grich is out. And now the plate umpire says he is safe. Don Denkinger is making a safe sign. Clark called him out.
Ernie, I think what happened, he had the ball in his bare hand, and he tagged him with the glove hand.
Well, Harvey Keene's coming out. He wants to know what happened. Simmons is putting up a vigorous argument with Denkinger. The first sign was given by Clark. He gave the out sign. He's the first base umpire. And then Denkinger came down the line and gave the safe sign.
Exactly that. That's exactly what happened. He had the ball in his throwing hand, or left hand, and he put the tag on Bobby Grich with the glove, and then belatedly, I think he tried to tag him with the bare hand, the ball therein. And apparently the umpires ruled that he missed in that attempt. He did get him with the glove, but the ball was not within the glove, so they called him safe, and the argument continues to rage.
And we'll have to wait and see how the official scorer wants to score that. In the meantime, DeCincy moved to third on that play. And Grich, at the moment, is safe at first base. And Denkinger and Simmons continue their argument as they come back to the home plate area. Oh, the batter now will be Foley. Had the ball in one hand, the glove in the other, and he tagged him with the glove. It'll be a sacrifice, no time at bat, and an error is charged to the first baseman, Cooper. That will be the fourth Milwaukee error. Here's Foley at the plate now with a man at first and a man at third. Nobody down. California in the lead, 2-1. Grich on first, DeCincy at third. Both heady base runners. Foley struck out the first time against Vukovic. Right-hand batter waiting. Here it comes. He takes a high one. Ball one. Infield in double play depth against Foley. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Tim looks, and it misses the outside corner. Breaking ball. 2-0. Cooper holding on at first with Grich. DeCincy comes down the line just slightly from third. Foley looks. This one gets the strike zone in above the knee. 2-1, the count on Tim.
Ernie Harvey Keene being patient with Vukovic because you'll remember he allowed 3 runs, 5 hits in the first 3 innings in Anaheim and was tough thereafter.
Here's the pitch. Foley swings. Let's say high foul fly out of play to right.
In fact, after that 3rd inning in Anaheim Wednesday night, Vukovic allowed just 1 run and 1 hit. So he started shaky, but he sure came on strong down the stretch.
And Harv's thinking maybe he can duplicate that performance. 2-2. That's the count on Foley. Chocolat bat leaning in about halfway up in the batter's box. Vukovic looks him over. Man on first, man on third. Nobody down. He sets, he deals. There's a little pop fly. Back of first. Cooper gloves it in foul territory, and everybody holds on. So there's 1 down. Runners are still at first and third. It is a 2-1 lead for California in their 4th inning, and the batter will be Bob Boone. And the skies are getting a lot darker now here at Milwaukee County Stadium. Here comes Freddie Federico, the trainer, out. I think Don Denkinger is going to be examined. Maybe he got hit by a ball up there. Freddie's looking him over. The other umpires are coming in to commiserate a little bit. Well, they've set a record now for the most errors in a series. What is it, then?
Cheaper by the dozen.
12 of them, eh?
Yep.
Well, here's Boone. He had a single his first time at bat. And then came around to score the run that put him in front 2-1. Vukovic ready, and Bob Boone takes a ball low, ball 1. I would have to guess that Simmons' argument on that play that Cooper tagged with the wrong hand was that the runner ran out of the 45-foot line there, the second halfway to first base, regardless of whether he was tagged or not. It's probably the Milwaukee company line. Here's the set now. The pitch. It's a squeeze. There's a bunt and a beauty. And into score comes the Sensei. And everybody's safe. A beautiful bunt to the right side of the mound. Nobody could get to it. The run scores. It is 3-1 California on a beautiful bunt single by Bob Boone. He gets his second hit. He drives in a run. The Sensei scoring. And Gritch moving into second base. So now the Californians have a 2-run lead, 3-1. Well, Denny, you won't see it executed any better than that.
And Ernie, it was the same pitcher that he victimized in Anaheim, Pete Vukovich, and he did exactly the same thing. He pushed it out toward the second baseman. So same pitcher, same technique, same result. It worked.
Here's Downing with a double and a sacrifice so far. 2 men on and 1 man down. The pitch to Bryan is a curve. It's over but low, ball 1. 3 runs and 7 hits for California. They've made 1 error, the Milwaukee team. 1 run, 2 hits, and they've made 4 errors. Vukovich to the set position. Downing waiting. There's a breaking ball in. 1-1 on Brian Downing. The 7 hits for California. 2 for Lynn, 2 for DeCinces, 2 for Boone, and 1 for Downing. Vukovich is ready. Downing waiting. Here it comes. He swings and laces a foul back at first base. And that one caught by a gentleman from Baldwin, New York. Came all the way out here to see the series. Outfield straight up on Downing. Open stance hitter. Waving that stick across the plate. Vukovich looks him over. Here it comes. He swings and hits another foul out of play. That one into the mezzanine, and a pretty good catch there. Well, there was one spectator catch here that didn't go over too big with the Milwaukee fans. And that man in the bleachers took that ball away from Ogilvy.
They had a story in the paper this morning with a picture, and the caption under the picture read, "Is this the same man who caught the ball robbing Ben Ogilvy on Friday?" And they had a look-alike type of photo. And you couldn't tell. It was so blurry. Who would know? They made a big thing out of it, didn't they?
Right. 1-2. That's the count on Downing. The skies are getting very dark now. The lights have been on. Vukovich to that set position, and time called at the plate by Don Denkinger.
Ernie, if that had been reversed and he'd made the catch when a Brewer had hit the ball, he'd have been invited to every party in town.
Right. Now the set, the pitch on the way. Downing hits a chopper to Molitor over to second. 1, relay to first, double play. And they get out of deeper trouble with the DP. Third to second to first. 1 run for California on 2 hits, 1 error, 1 man left. We go to the last half of the 4th inning, and the Angels 3 and the Brewers 1.
WMAQ.
Okay, you called to play TV Mystery Face.
Yes, we did.
For $1 million, turn on your TV and identify today's TV Mystery Face.
Right. Doris, who is it?
Oh, the TV's on the fritz.
It's some guy named Fritz.
Call us when you get a Quasar.
Had enough of that old TV. Get in front of a new Quasar. Incredible pictures, some sets with 134 channels. Ready for cable and stereo. Nobody offers you more than Quasar. For quality and dependability, shouldn't you have a Quasar?
What's 5 foot-ish, does its homework every night, and is on CBS TV this fall.
Square peg, square peg, square peg. We're both in a class of our own. Trouble is we're in it alone.
Like totally.
Square peg, square peg, square peg.
We're the straightest days, the high school scenes. People laugh at us on their TV screens.
Square peg, square peg, square peg.
Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on CBS TV.
Square peg.
Well, here's a good way to things. Check the sports scene with Jim Kelly in the Sports World Roundup. It's our earliest network sports broadcast. Jim brings you wrap-ups and a rundown on what's to come. CBS Radio Roundup. Hear it here. Incidentally, Jim's in Atlanta game tonight, so you can be sure of the details on his show tomorrow morning.
Ernie, we have some word on the National Football League strike. Jack Donlin of the NFL Management Council, Ed Garvey and Gene Upshaw of the NFL Players Association met this afternoon in Westchester County, New York. We understand the meeting lasted some 3 hours. They did make some progress. That is to say that they agreed to contact the Federal Mediations Committee to select a mediator. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the mediator would be a federal mediator, but some kind of a third party. So if that is progress, why, so be it.
Well, here come the Brewers to bat in their fourth inning. California 3, Milwaukee 1. Ted Simmons, the switch batting catcher, will lead it off. He drove in the Milwaukee run in the first inning with a sacrifice fly to right, getting Molitor home from third. Molitor had doubled and gone to third on a bounce out. And that's how Milwaukee has scored its only run. It came in the first inning. Keeson, who beat him in the second game, is leading him in this one. Here's a little capper roll to Carew, wide of the bag at first. He'll make the play unassisted, and Simmons is out on the first pitch. Ben Ogilvy will be the batter now. Ben has batted one time and bounced to first base. Looking for his second hit in the series. He missed the game yesterday because of the bruised ribs. 3 runs, 7 hits for California, 1 run, and 2 hits for Milwaukee. Keeson and Vukovich in a rematch of the second game of this series. Here's Ogilvy, the left-handed batting outfielder, and he takes a strike. Keeson laid one right in between the belt and the knees on Ben. Infield is deep, especially Gritch. He's way back at the second base post. And Carew is deep at first. Now Keeson, the right-hander, delivers. Here's a fly ball, and it's deep to right. And this one is gone. It's a home run for Ogilvy to cut the lead to 3-2. Pulls the Brewers within 1 of California with a bases-empty home run here in the fourth inning, back in the right field area.
Ernie, it looked like Keeson threw a changeup and got it up and out over the plate. And certainly, a hitter like Ben Ogilvy, you do not want to throw a changeup up.
Absolutely. Here's Gorman Thomas, who is also a home run threat. His only hit in the series was a home run his first time up. And he takes a strike from Keeson. 3-2, the Californians hold the lead. Milwaukee batting in the last half of the fourth inning. They've got 1 out of the bases empty. Here's the motion in the pitch, and Thomas takes a ball wide. 1-1 on Gorman. All the runs so far have come one at a time. Here's the motion, and he sidearms in with a fastball. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Thomas' dad down there in South Carolina, postmaster. Quite a ball player himself in the semi-pro ranks. Had a chance to go with the Yankees. He went into World War II, hurt his back, and never got to have a baseball career. Swing and a miss. Thomas strikes out. Outside slider fooled him. And that is the third strikeout for Keeson. 2 down, the base is empty. California leading 3-2. Here comes Money. Don struck out his only trip. Outfield to left on him. Money standing deep. He figures he's waited too long. Now he steps out, and Don Denkinger calls time down there at the plate. Money backs off. It's in too close, ball 1. Each team with a run in the first inning. California got one in the third, added one in the fourth. Milwaukee's come back with one in this inning, the fourth. There's a breaking ball low, 2-0 the count on Don Money. Keeson delivers, Money swings and pops it up. Between third and home, foul ball. DeCinces makes the catch with ease. And there are out in the Milwaukee fourth. One run on the home run by Ogilvy. One hit, no errors, and nobody left. And these two rivals have completed 4 in Milwaukee. It's California 3 and the Brewers 2.
WMAQ. Mr. Balone?
Yes, but...
Pearl's party planning. We got your order for petunias, orchids, assorted violins.
That's assorted violets.
Oh. Hold the violins, fellas. Pearl has terrible handwriting.
These flowers were for my wedding reception.
So?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Well, it's our delivery truck. Broke down. Just got to fix. Sign here, please.
Hey, don't you know about Jartran?
Sure. Hey, Ralph, got any more of those night-blooming Jartrans back there?
No. Jartran Truck Rental.
Oh.
It's a company that rents trucks and trailers and vans just the right size for your needs.
Where do you want these garden hoses?
I asked for roses, not hoses.
Boy, Pearl has terrible handwriting.
Well, she won't have a business if she doesn't find out about Jartran Truck Rental.
You know, Jartran makes sense in today's economy. We can rent trucks just for our busy season. That month when everybody gets married?
June.
No, Pearl. Pearl's party planning.
Oh, brother.
Hey, what should I do with these musicians I brought over?
I didn't order musicians.
You sure did. Look right here, an assortment of jazzmen.
It's jasmine. It's a flower.
I gotta talk to Pearl about...
For a limited time, any Jartran truck is just $29.90 a day for local rentals, Monday through Thursday. Restrictions apply, so ask for details.
Well, many of you folks across the country in the middle of a 3-day weekend, and tomorrow is Columbus Day, so right now we're in the middle of a CBS Radio doubleheader sports special. If you stay with us, you'll soon know which team will be representing the American League in the World Series. And then later on many of these same stations, you'll also hear the third game of the National League Championship Series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves at 8:15 Eastern Time. Opening night in Atlanta. Plenty of action for weekend sports fans from CBS Radio. We've had plenty of action in this one. Telescoped into the first 4 innings at County Stadium, and the Californians have a 3-2 lead. Here's Carew to lead off against Vukovic in the 5th. And the pitch. Rod starts to bunt, runs up, does not offer. It's ruled a ball. Ball 1. Reggie Jackson bats next, and then the hottest hitter in the series, Fred Lynn. Swing and a line drive knocked down by Vukovic. He picks it up. He guns it over to first. In time to Cooper, and there's one away. Good stop by Vukovic.
And, Ernie, he took a base hit away from Rod Carew, and that's the first time in the game that Vukovic has been able to retire the California leadoff man. So maybe Pete can have a 1-2-3 inning. He hasn't had one yet.
Well, he's got to get by a couple of pretty good hitters. If he does, Reggie Jackson up at the plate now, and then Fred Lynn. Reg with 2 hits now in 17 trips in this series. One of his hits a home run. Vukovic ready to go to work. And the let-up is outside on Jackson, ball 1. Reggie has now struck out 7 times. He struck out the last time at bat. Here's a pitch on the way, and it is a ball in too close. Gorman Thomas, the big Milwaukee slugger, is also fanned 7 times now, including his strikeout of this game, so they are tied. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Reggie. Swung on and missed. He went fishing on a changeup toward the outside. They're pitching him away most of the time. First time up, Jackson hit a vicious line drive at Molitor gloved, and then came that strikeout the second trip. 2-1, the count on Reggie Jackson. Vukovic gets his sign from Simmons, works again. Swing and a foul right down in the dirt at the plate. 2-2. Field deep, bunched up the middle on Jackson. Waiting on a 2-2 delivery from the Milwaukee right-hander Pete Vukovic. Here's the pitch. It is a wide one, a full count on Reggie Jackson. Vukovic has walked 1 and struck out 3. Helped by a double play in the 4th inning in the midst of an Angel rally. Now the full count pitch coming up to Reggie Jackson. Time called by umpire Don Denkinger. And Reggie steps out and then back into the batter's box. Now they wind up. And now the pitch. He takes a walk. Ball 4. Tried to get him to go for an outside fastball. Reggie would have no part on it. And he gets his second walk for the team. Here's Fred Lynn with 2 for 2. Fred now has 10 hits and 16 trips.
And Ernie, twice Fred Lynn has gone to the opposite field against Vukovic. Let's see what Lynn does this time, and we'll counter that by watching and see what Vukovic does to him.
And each time that Lynn got that hit, he drove home a run. This time it's a little bit different. He's got a man at first base. Cooper holding on the bag. Here's the set by Vukovic, and Lynn fouls it away. That one came down and hit him on the foot.
And he had a pitch to pull, and he tried to pull it.
Slayton and McClure in the bullpen. They have been up a good bit here in the first half of the game. Jim Slayton, the right-hander. Freddie letting that hurt go away as he steps outside the batter's box. 3 hitters, left-hand hitter. Man on and the man out. 3-2. California leading. It's the 5th inning. There's a throw to first. Jackson back safely. California has had at least 1 hit in each one of the first 4 innings. They don't have one here in the 5th yet. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled in the dirt back of the plate. 2 strikes. Well, he had 2 strikes on Lynn the last time. Had him 0-2 and lost him. Vukovic looking over to first. Cooper will still hold on the bag with Reggie Jackson. It's a 3-2 lead for California in the 5th inning. Now Pete goes to his set position, and the pitch is a high one in close, a breaking ball, 1-2. Vukovic, you remember, pitched in the 2nd game at California. Keeson beat him 4-2 with a complete game victory in that one. Now Pete ready to go to work again. And the pitch. Lynn backs off. It's a curve in too tight. 2-2 on Fred Lynn. California has scored 1 run in each of the first 4 innings except for the 2nd. They got a man on and couldn't get him around in that one. They tossed to first, and back in time is Reggie Jackson. Now Lynn waiting on the 2-2 delivery. Here it comes. He swings and hits a base hit to right field. Jackson turning second, headed for third. Here's the throw by Charlie Moore in the monitor. Jackson is out at third. Lynn gets his 3rd straight hit of the game, but Reggie Jackson cut down by Charlie Moore, the converted outfielder, who fired it in the monitor. Molitor put the tag on Reggie Jackson to cut him down at third base.
Ernie, that's a converted catcher out there. We've talked about it before, and an absolutely beautiful throw. He charged the ground ball in excellent fashion, came up firing right over the top. Picture book execution. That might be the biggest play in the game.
It's a big one because it means a man on first and 2 down instead of a man at first and third and 1 away. Don Baylor, the batter. And the pitch is outside. Mr. Vukovic has certainly struggled, but he's held on. He's allowed 8 hits so far. Milwaukee's kicked in with 4 errors to get him in a little more trouble. And California has a 3-2 lead. A little tossed over to first by Vukovic, but Lynn was back in time. Now Vuk is ready, delivers, and Baylor takes a ball a little bit low, 2-0. Lynn now has 5 for 7 against Vukovic. He's feasted on the right-hander. And he's tied the playoff record for most hits, 11. Here's a swing and a miss. That's the American League record that was held by Chris Stanley, who had that great series for the Yankees in '76. 2-1 the count on Baylor. Lynn at first base, 2 out, 3-2 California, 5th inning. Baylor waiting. Here it comes. He takes the ball wide of the plate. 3-1 the count on him. Vukovic in this inning has been behind on several of the hitters. Now Lynn trying to get a little bit of a lead over there. Baylor waiting. Vukovic sets, and that it is, and Baylor hits a bounding ball to right. That'll be a base hit. Lynn coming around second, and Moore picks up the ball. He'll hold at second base. 2 men on, 2 men out.
Well, Ernie, Charlie Moore's throw has already saved 1 run.
Absolutely, and it gained a little respect there. Lynn didn't have any idea of moving to third. He was satisfied to stop at the middle station out there. And it is now DeCinces coming to bat, and we'll have a conference between Simmons and Vukovic. That's the 9th hit for California.
And you must say this, Milwaukee manager Harvey Keene has patience.
Absolutely. Joe McCarthy used to say the 2 requisites of being a manager, number 1, patience, and number 2, knowing where to play your players. And how to get rid of them when you don't want them. Here's DeCinces. And the pitch is a strike. He took a fastball in. Doug's had a good day at the plate, a single and a double. He scored a run. He now has 5 hits in the series. And the Angels continue to threaten against Vukovic in Milwaukee. 2 on and 2 out in the 5th inning. DeCinces waits at the plate, waits too long, time called. Two extra base hits for the California hitters today. Downing led off the game with a double. DeCinces led off the 4th inning with a double. Each one of those runners came home to score. All the other hits have been singles. And on the other side, there have been 3 hits for Milwaukee. Molitor has a single and a double. And Ogilvy has a home run. Well, now everybody's about ready. Strike 1 count on Doug DeCinces. Vukovic delivers. It is a strike call. The slider on the outside corner. Doug stands way back in the batter's box, and they're pitching to that far outside corner on him. Baylor on first base and Lynn on second. Baylor can get a big lead because Cook is playing behind him and way off the bag. 2-strike count. Vukovic to the set position at the mound. And the pitch is a high one. He didn't chase that. 1-2. Lynn looking back to second to see where Gatler's playing. He leads down the line now. DeCinces waits on the 1-2 serve. Here it comes. He swings and misses. Struck him out. Well, the Angels' threat in the 5th inning is history. The 4th strikeout for Vukovic. No runs, 2 hits for California. They had a walk. They leave 2. And at the end of 4 1/2 innings, it is California 3, Milwaukee 2.
After the game, it's Jimmy Pearsall on WMAQ.
I'm George Allen. Back in Chicago to start my football career over again as owner and coach of Chicago Blitz in the new United States Football League. I have found creating a new professional team my biggest challenge. Chicago is a great city, and it was my home for 8 years. In '63, I helped bring a championship to this city. Now I intend to work longer and harder to bring another winner. We want the Blitz to be a team the people of Chicago can be proud of. Already we have signed 5 named players, including Greg Landry and Tim Reitman, an All-American. This is how we will build the Chicago Blitz, with a combination of veteran players and young stars. But as we build our team into a winner, we need your help. The football fans of Chicago. Our home will be Chicago Soldier Field, and good midfield tickets are available. Just call 670-0100 or 670-USFL and place your order now.
WMAQ.
Well, it's been kind of a crazy quilt game here so far. The Angels jumping out in front of the opening inning with a single by Downing. Went to third on an error by Molitor after Molitor caught a line drive up the bat of Jackson and threw Wild to second base, and then he scored on a single by Lynn. So the Milwaukee Brewers came right back, got a double from their leadoff man Molitor. He went to third on a bounce out by Yunt and scored on a sacrifice by Simmons. And California made it 2-1 on a leadoff single by Boone, a sacrifice to second base, and a 2-out single by Freddie Lynn, knocking in his second run with his second hit in 2 times at bat. The Angels got another one in the 4th inning on a double by DeCinces. The sacrifice error sent him to third, and he came home on a squeeze-a-month single by Bob Boone. And also, the Angels had numerous threats in their first 5 innings, but were able to cash in only 3 times. Meanwhile, in the 4th inning, the Brewers got their second run. With 1 out, Ogilvy hit a line drive home run in the right field seats to cut the Angel lead to 3-2, and that's where it stands now with Thiessen ready to go to work in the last half of the 5th. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS.
It's Jimmy Pearsall after the game on 67 WMAQ Chicago.
Charlie Moore, the right fielder who made that great throw to cut down Reggie Jackson in the first half of this inning. A very important, a key play comes to bat now to face Thiessen. It is 3-2 California over Milwaukee. My pleasure now to join with you folks. We'll all enjoy hearing from the voice of the Kansas City Royals, Denny Matthews.
Thank you, Ernie. Hi, everybody. Charlie Moore flied out to center his first time up. Thiessen throws the strike on the inside corners. Charlie shortened up as if to bunt. No balls and 1 strike. It would be very interesting to know the mood in both dugouts at the moment. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Charlie Moore. Had a notion laid off. The pitch low and outside, and the count 1-1. The Milwaukee Brewers are probably just tickled to death to be trailing by just 1. They have been out hit 9-3, and they are very much in the ballgame. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Charlie Moore. A little looping liner to the second baseman, 1 away. Charlie Moore hit a little nubber out to Bobby Grich. And here's Jim Gantner, who drew a base on balls his first time up. On the other side of the field, the California Angels must be wondering why they're not leading by about 8-2. The Angels have had base runners all over the place. They have had a total of 12 runners in 5 innings, and as Ernie told you, have scored only 3 of them. Many times that will come back to haunt a team. Wasted opportunities. Jim Gantner takes an off-speed pitch for a strike, and it's 0-1 on Gantner. Base is empty, 1 away. 3-2 California. There's a hard shot, but foul up the right field line. No balls and 2 strikes on Jim. Paul Molitor will be next. Bruce Keeson, trying to become the winningest pitcher in American League Championship Series history. Nothing in 2 on left-handed hitting Jim Gantner. In comes the pitch. Popped up. Second baseman Bob Grich to his right. Pounds the glove and makes the catch behind second base. 2 down. So Grich has handled the pop-up hit by Moore and Gantner, and now it's Molitor. He doubled and scored in the first. He singled in the third. Bruce Keeson is 4-0 in League Championship Series contests. The other 4 game winners: Jim Palmer, Catfish Hunter, Tommy John, the other 3, I should say. Bouncing foul over toward the California Angel dugout, strike one. Robin Yount will be next. Strong breeze continues to blow toward the left field corner. One strike on Paul Molitor. Keeson gets the sign from Bob Boone and goes to work. Sidearm breaking ball. He nicked it foul. Strike two. The Brewers have a single, a double, and a home run off Keeson. The home run by Ben Ogilvy in the fourth. Molitor with the other two. Keeson rubbing up the ball. Now pinch of the Rosenbag. They play Molitor to pull in the California outfield. And now the two-strike pitch on the way. Fastball is high, 1-2. Keeson's record during the regular year was 10-5. Low and outside as he came sidearm. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was Molitor who hit the inside the park home run off Keeson last Wednesday night. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. It's 3-2 favor of California. The Angels have out hit the Brewers 9-3. Milwaukee with 4 errors so far. California with 1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Right-handed hitter waits. And Keeson brings it home. Into the dirt, ball 3. Keeson was sent to the bullpen on June the 23rd. He returned to the starting rotation on the 14th of September. And then won 3 key games down the stretch. He was 9-3 as a starter. He beat the Brewers here in County Stadium during the regular year 7-2 in mid-May. And lost to the Brewers in Anaheim in late May. The 3-2 pitch to Paul Molitor. Bouncing ball fouled into the crowd just to the left of home plate. So the folks in the box seats down there. One of them brandishing that souvenir. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Molitor. Keeson working very slowly and very deliberately here in this inning. Bob Boone the sign. Now the pitch. He walked him. Keeson walking off the mound toward the third base dugout, thinking that was strike 3, but Don Dinkinger, the plate umpire, ruled it ball 4. So the Brewers have a base runner with 2 away. And here is Robin Yount, and Robin's still looking for his first RBI. Molitor playing the role of leadoff man to perfection so far with a walk, a single, and a double. And Bob Boone out to talk to Keeson. That's the second walk surrendered by Bruce. He walked Gander back in the third. The wind, as it's blowing at the moment, will help the right-handed batters if they pull the ball. I would say from about the 392 sign in left center around toward the foul pole, the wind will help. 1 on, 2 out. That's the tying run at first, and there he goes. The pitch is outside. Boone's throw is not in time. A stolen base. Molitor has his first stolen base of the series.
Got a good jump, and Boone didn't make a very good throw. He was hurried, and he threw the ball high into the right field side of the bag, and it was fairly easy for Molitor to get that steal.
During the regular year, Molitor swiped 41. He was caught stealing just 9 times. An excellent percentage. Of course, Paul led the American League in runs scored with 136. And there he is for Robin Yount, runner at second. 1 ball, no strikes. Right-handed batter waits. Bruce Keeson brings it home. way inside. 2-0. Yount has hit the ball sharply twice. He grounded out to Grich in the first. Bounced into the double play in the third. Two balls, no strikes. So Robin Yount with the count his way. Molitor a good lead at second. Pickoff try at second. Grich takes the throw and easily back is Molitor. An overcast, windy afternoon in Milwaukee, and the temperature now beginning to drop. Two balls, no strikes. Keeson about to uncork a big pitch right here. Into the stretch he goes. The 2-0 delivery. Inside, ball 3-0. Cecil Cooper in the on-deck circle. And now Yount looking at his third base coach, Harry Warner. Does he have the hit privilege with the count 3-0? Don't be surprised if he swings. Listen to this crowd now. The pitch. Strike called, and it's 3-1. Many times, given the hit privilege, 3-0, a hitter will not only look for a particular pitch, but he will look for a particular pitch in a certain spot. Molitor at second. 3-1 to Yount. Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss. Strike two and a full count. So Keeson coming back from 3-0 to run the count full. This started with 2 out. The first 2 men, Moore and Gantner, popped out to Grich. Then Molitor worked Keeson for the walk, swiped second. And there he is with the count 3-2 on Robin Yount. Keeson whirls as if to throw and just fakes. Yount backing up. Robin drove in 114 runs during the regular season. The 3-2 pitch. Bouncing ball foul outside third. It's still 3-2. Robin Yount, during the regular season, was the Brewers' leading hitter against California. Robin hit .340 against the Angels. He had 16 hits, 8 RBIs, and 3 doubles. The tying run at second with 2 out in the bottom of the fifth. 3-2 Angels. Here's the pitch. Low, ball 4, and Yount draws the walk. And now the fans yelling Coop as Cecil Cooper strides toward the plate. The third walk surrendered by Bruce Keeson. Cecil Cooper, 2 out of 18 in the series. He has reached on an error and struck out in this contest. Cecil has driven in 2 runs. Now the Brewers have the tying run at second, the lead run at first, and Cecil Cooper at the plate. Hassler throwing the Angel bullpen. Cooper takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Keeson looking around, just checking to see the defense. They're straight away for Coop. 1 strike on the left-handed batter. Now the pitch. Way high and outside, and it's 1-1. Against California during the regular year, Cooper had 3 home runs. That was tops on the Brewer team against California. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Keeson keeping the ball away from him. And now the count at 1-2. Now Keeson taking another little hike behind the pitcher's mound. Bruce has really slowed down the pace here in this half inning. back-to-back walks with 2 out. And now Keeson has the advantage in the count on Cecil Cooper. 1-2. Runners lead away. Here's the stretch. Now the pitch. Foul ball back to the screen, and once again, Keeson keeping the ball outside. The crowd now is quieted somewhat. The California Angels with 9 hits and 3 runs. Milwaukee with 3 hits and 2 runs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The fans now beginning to yell Coop. Keeson accepts the sign and goes to work. High pop foul coming back and out of play. So the count remains 1-2 on Cecil Cooper. One of the 3 home runs that Cecil Cooper and Renko continue to work in the California bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cooper. Here's the stretch. Here is the pitch. High pop foul. The wind will push it deep into the seats down the left field line. To Sensei and Downing over to take a look, but it's back into the boxes, well out of play. So Cooper and Keeson having quite a struggle with 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Now Luis Sanchez has replaced Renko. It's Sanchez throwing alongside Andy Hassler. Sanchez, the big man out of the California bullpen in the month of September. 2 on, 2 out, 1-2 on Cooper. Keeson's pitch. He struck him out. He got him with a sidearm breaking ball. So the long battle went to the pitcher, Bruce Keeson. And the Brewers squander a scoring opportunity. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, a stolen base, and 2 left. The Brewers have now stranded 4. The Angels have left 6. And at the end of 5, California 3 and Milwaukee 2.
WMAQ.
If you're looking for a great car insurance buy, check with State Farm. Good car insurance value is where it's always been, at State Farm Mutual. For years, we've been known for our low rates and outstanding service. That's why so many drivers come to State Farm and stick with State Farm year after year. Check your yellow pages. There's a State Farm agent near you. Check with State Farm.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
To hear about the mileage you get with a Honda Civic 4-door wagon, we wouldn't have time to tell you about its generous interior space, that it comes loaded with practical standard equipment, and that it's one of the lowest priced wagons in America. So spend a little time with your Honda dealer and learn about its mileage. Our time is up.
For over 100 years, America has had a passionate love affair with baseball. Baseball has become more than the national pastime. It has become a vital part of the fabric of American life. Historian Jacques Barzun summed it up best when he wrote this classic line: "Whoever wants to know the heart and mind of America had better learn baseball." Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Here we go to the top of the 6th inning. 3-2 in favor of California. Bob Gritch, Tim Foley, and Bob Boone, the lower third of the California batting order, coming up against Pete Vukovich. And Pete, in 5 innings, has thrown 87 pitches. Most of them from the stretch. Gritch swings and foul tips, strike 1. The Angels have had their leadoff man aboard in all but the 5th. Vukovich, 1 strike pitch to Bob Gritch, is high and outside, 1-1. Downing doubled to start the game. DeCinces, a bunt single to start the 2nd. Boone led off the 3rd with a single. Outside, ball 2, 2-1. And DeCinces doubled to start the fourth. Only in the fifth when Carew tapped out. Didn't tap out. He hit a shot that Vukovic knocked down and threw him out. The Angels' leadoff man failed to reach. And now ball 3 to Bobby Grich. Vukovic has walked 2. He has struck out 4. This game has been a struggle for him. Bouncing ball to third. Fumbled, recovered, and throws in time. Molitor fumbled the ball. It rolled away from him. But he scrambled, recovered, and fired to first, still in time to get Bobby Grich. And the Brewers came very close to committing their 5th error. The batter, Tim Foley. Tim struck out in the second. Fouled out to the first baseman in the fourth. 3 runs, 9 hits for the Angels. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Brewers. Vukovic is high. 1 ball, no strikes to Foley. The line by Vukovic in the pitch. Breaking ball is popped up. Short center. In comes Thomas. Out goes Yount. Yount calling for it and makes the catch. Gander was also alongside. So Foley pops to Yount. 2 away in the California 6th. And here is Bob Boone. Bob has singled twice, driven in a run, and scored 1. He singled and scored in the third. Scored on Fred Lynn's base hit. And then his squeeze bunt single got DeCinces home in the fourth. The Angels with at least 1 hit in every inning so far. There's a fly ball to right. Charlie Moore is there. Back a couple of steps, and for the first time in the game, the Angels go down 1-2-3. The Brewers come to bat in the bottom of the 6th. The score remains California 3, Milwaukee 2.
WMAQ. The average car may be getting smaller, but the average American is getting taller. That's why the small, efficient Buick Skyhawk doesn't forget Buick's biggest fans. With an optional 1.8-liter engine, it offers an EPA estimated MPG of 28. Use estimated MPG for comparisons. Actual mileage may be different. But inside, there's luxury and room for even those with above-average dimensions. The 1983 Buick Skyhawk. Like a lot of people, you'll fit right in.
As the Brewers come to bat in the bottom of the 6th, the Angels have a new pitcher, right-hander Luis Sanchez. Sanchez, during the regular year, appearing 46 times. 7 wins, 4 losses. He saved 5 games. His earned run average was 3.21. He allowed 89 hits in 93 innings, struck out 58, walked 34, and surrendered but 3 home runs. He is more of a power pitcher than a finesse pitcher. And he made a big difference to the California Angels in the month of September. He came out of the bullpen and saved some big games for the California Angels. Sanchez pitching with much more poise and confidence from about mid-August on. And he really gave the Angels bullpen a lift. He'll be facing Ted Simmons, Ben Ogilvy, and Gorman Thomas, so Sanchez will have to wade his way through the heart, through the middle of the Brewer batting order. Ted Simmons is scoring fly ball in the first, driving in his first run of the series, and then Ted grounded out in the fourth. Well, we mentioned, Ernie, that it looked like Bruce Keeson was perhaps tiring. He had really slowed the pace down, and a lot of times when a pitcher is getting weary, why, that's what he'll do. Here's the pitch to Ted Simmons. It's a little bit low for a ball.
Well, he may have had a little trouble with that hand, too, that had been bothering him. That might have been a factor.
Keeson, nonetheless, could be the winner if the Angels can maintain the lead. Simmons whacks one foul out of play down the left field line, and the count evens out at 1-1. Ted, the former St. Louis Cardinal catcher, he was a big favorite in St. Louis, and of course, when he was traded to the Milwaukee Brewers, the Cardinal fans were up in arms. 1-1 pitch. Outside, ball 2-1. Whitey Herzog receiving a lot of criticism, the Ted Simmons deal, but the Redbird fans are happy now. The Cardinals have a chance to wrap it up tonight in Atlanta. Outside, ball 3-1. So Sanchez in danger of walking Simmons here in the bottom of the sixth. Simmons up on the left side. Here comes the pitch. There's a drive into left field. Brian Downing fading back a couple of steps, makes the catch, and there's one away. So Simmons hit a 3-1 pitch right on the nose, but right at Downing.
He had a little trouble with that at the start. He sort of staggered out there for a moment, did a little stutter step, and then went back and grabbed it. He's made himself a good outfielder.
So Downing taking care of Ted Simmons' line drive, and here's Ogilvy. Ben homered in the fourth. First time up, he grounded out sharply to the first baseman, Rod Carew. So Benji, as the Brewer players call Ben Ogilvy, facing Sanchez for the first time. Luis wheels one in, and Ogilvy had a vicious rip, and he fouled it off for strike one. 3-2 California, bottom of the sixth. The winner of this game goes to the World Series. Sanchez winds and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike two, and it's 0-2 on Ben. Gorman Thomas in the on-deck circle. Signal given by Bob Boone, the two-strike pitch to Ogilvy. Missed outside, and it's 1-2. This game now just about 2 hours old. First pitch at 3:25 Milwaukee time. 1-2 delivery is hit high in the air, fouled and out of play on the third base side. Still 1-2. We're getting a report now on Bruce Keeson. And that blister did start to act up on Keeson. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swung and he fouled it off. He barely got a piece of it. So Ben's still alive at the plate.
A report from the clubhouse, Denny, that Keeson did have some problems with his hand. There was some sensitivity there. There was not a blister breaking, but there was some sensitivity, and they felt that he should not continue. That's why they took him out.
1 ball, 2 strikes now on Ben Ogilvy, and Sanchez pitch is way outside a fastball, and it's evened out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ernie, remember all the problems that Nolan Ryan had with blisters at the outset of his career, particularly with the Mets, and they tried many different cure-alls. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ben Ogilvy. Here's the delivery. Fouled away, and it's still 2-2.
Well, there's the brine treatment for one, and Roger Craig, the Tiger pitching coach, has a theory that you carry a little pebble in your pocket and rub your finger against it all the time and get a little friction against the finger and build up a roughage of the skin.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Ben Ogilvy. 3-2 California, bottom of the sixth. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. He stayed with hard stuff, and Ogilvy fanned on a fastball. So Sanchez has his first strikeout, and here is the hobbled Gorman Thomas. Thomas with a bad knee. Gorman in the second inning grounded out to Bobby Grich, and then facing Keeson in the fourth, he went down swinging. Keeson finished with 4 strikeouts. He walked 3 men, and allowed the 3 hits, the single and the double by Molitor and the home run by Ben Ogilvy. So Keeson, 2 straight fine outings against the Milwaukee Brewers. And he would be the winning pitcher if the Angels can hang on. There's a swing and a miss by Thomas, 0-1. But we still have a long way to go in this one. 2 explosive teams, the Brewers and the Angels. The 0-1 pitch. Low and outside, 1-1. It was just 1 week ago today in Baltimore that the Brewers won a game that they had to win, the final game of that series in Baltimore, and they edged the Orioles by 1 game, thereby gaining the right to play these California Angels. The Angels clinched on Saturday afternoon by beating Texas. The 1-1 pitch, bouncing ball to third. Doug DeCinces has got it. Low throw, dug out on the backhand by Rod Carew nicely. So Carew saved DeCinces an error, and the Brewers go down in order, facing Sanchez in the bottom of the 6th. We have played 6. It remains the Angels 3, the Brewers 2.
WMAQ.
All that you can be.
This way I can go to college and be in the Army.
1 weekend a month, college freshman Stephanie DeMarcus earns money for college in the Army Reserve.
On split option, you go to your basic, and then you can return back to school, and then you go to your advanced individual training. It's a good part-time job.
If you'd like to earn over $12,000 for college while you're going to college, call your Army Reserve recruiter listed in the Yellow Pages and ask about the split training option. Paid for by the Army Reserve.
Sally Struthers is Gloria.
Oh, Archie Bunker's little girl.
Well, CBS TV's announced that Gloria has a show of her own.
Oh, then things are swinging and the birds are singing and everything's going to be okay.
Okay. Gloria and her son Joey are out there trying to make it on their own.
Uh-huh.
It's really a funny show.
Uh-huh.
Sally Struthers is Gloria.
I know they'll do very well.
So you were pleased with the CBS announcement?
What was their announcement?
Gloria premieres Sunday at 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain on CBS TV.
After Archie Bunker's place.
Say there's no need to miss baseball's main event. The World Series is scheduled to start Tuesday night, and you can enjoy the CBS Radio Sports live coverage wherever you are. Just take along your portable and follow the action. The World Series, something special from CBS Radio. Vin Scully calls the play-by-play. Sparky Anderson will be alongside. And don't forget, Win Elliott will have pregame and postgame reports. That's the World Series, scheduled to begin on Tuesday night. We go to the top of the 7th, and Brian Downing leads off against Pete Vukovich, 3-2 in favor of California. And Downing lifts the foul ball back and out of play into the press area. And it rattles around just to our right, strike 1 on Downing. Brian doubled and scored in the first, laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd, and grounded into a double play in the 4th. Brian with 3 hits in the series. Change up, and he takes a rip and misses. Strike 2, 0-2. So Vukovich finally working his first 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. Trying to retire his 5th straight man, and Downing punches one foul into the crowd down the right field line. Downing came to the California Angels from the Chicago White Sox. The 2-strike pitch. Change-up fooled him. A check swing roller back to the mound. Vukovich flips to first, and there's one away. Vukovich very effectively pulling the string on Brian Downing. Here is Rod Carew. Rod 0 for 2 with a walk. He is 3 out of 16 in the series. The breeze continues to blow toward the left field corner. Vukovich to Carew. Crowded him, 1 ball and no strikes. Vukovich brings it home, and Carew had a notion, laid off the curveball, which dipped low, and it's 2-0. Vukovich has 4 strikeouts. He has walked 2. High, it's 3-0. Three balls, no strikes on Rod Carew. There's a strike. They're shading Rod toward left. Vukovic, 3-1 pitch on the way. Ball 4, low and inside, and Carew is aboard for the second time.
Denny, we've got two fellows here that are playing hurt. Downing of the California team and Gorman Thomas of the Milwaukee team. And Oakley is also hurt. Right now, it looks like we may get a new pitcher. Harvey Keene has come out of the dugout. He's walking across the foul line toward the mound. They've had Slayton throwing out there and also McClure. Unless somebody more recently got up. They were the last ones that I saw. Sutton's been throwing, is that right? Yeah. Don Sutton's been up there, too. But as of right now, I don't see any indication they're going to make a change.
Well, Reggie Jackson, a left-handed batter, is to be the scheduled hitter, and he'll be followed by Fred Lynn. So if Harvey is to make a move, he will probably favor McClure. And now he does give the indication that the left-hander will be brought in. So that means Bob McClure. We had a chance to visit with Bob before the game, and Bob has indicated that he would like to be a starting pitcher next year. He would like to get into the regular rotation. Nice hand for Pete Vukovic. Ernie, that was a very typical Pete Vukovic game, although you had the feeling that Pete really never did have his real good stuff. He was just out there battling and using his experience and guile, you might say.
Well, he sure gave it a great battle, no question about that. And as you say, throughout the year, that's been the type of a game that Vukovic has pitched. He won 18, one of the leading candidates for the Cy Young Award in the American League, and he gave it everything he had here, but he leaves the game on the short end right now with California ahead at 3-2. So here comes Mr. McClure, the left-hander from California, born in Oakland, lives in Walnut Creek, and he'll be taking over to pitch to Reggie Jackson.
And a couple of reasons for going to the left-hander in this situation. The one, of course, we mentioned, the fact that you have Reggie Jackson and Fred Lynn, both left-handed hitters coming up. And another factor, Ernie, would be that Bob McClure has one of the fine moves to first, and if the Angels are inclined to play any kind of running game or even a sacrifice situation, McClure fields his position well. So a couple of other reasons why Harvey Keene has favored the left-hander.
And Harvey gives him the ball and says, go get him. McClure, basically a fastball, curveball pitcher. He has a slider and a change and mixes those in.
And while Bob is loosening up, let's pause for this. Now pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers, checking Bob's numbers during the regular year. He appeared 35 times, won 12, lost 7, no saves. Surrendered 160 hits in 173 innings. He enters the game in the 7th inning with Rod Carew at first, 1 out, and Reggie Jackson at the plate. Reggie has lined hard to third. He has struck out, and he has walked. So Bob McClure with a very fine move to first. Carew, an experienced base runner. And a bouncing ball to second. Looks like a double play. Robin Yount one. Back to first. It is a double play. Bob McClure gets 2 outs with 1 pitch. And the Angels' 7th is history. No runs, no hits, a walk, and a big inning-ending double play. Nobody left. To the bottom of the 7th we go at County Stadium. California 3, Milwaukee 2.
WMAQ.
Before you look under the hood of a new car, look at how the hood fits. If you look at a Honda, you'll see the hood, doors, trunk, and hatch fit the body with close tolerances. That's Honda quality. And that's one reason why Hondas have traditionally retained a high resale value among the best in the industry. You only have to look at how the hood fits to understand that.
Spiffy apartment, Larry.
Well, I'm a today kind of guy.
Yes.
What say I spin a little wax?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Tiffany?
Yes, Larry.
It's your eyes. They're so...
Larry?
Yes, Tiffany.
It's your stereo.
Huh?
Call me when you get a Quasar.
Larry needs the Quasar sound stack. High-performance stereo system selected and matched for you. Some including the linear tracking turntable to assure accurate sound reproduction. For quality and dependability, shouldn't you have a Quasar?
National League fans, Jack Buck and Jerry Coleman will be on the air tonight at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:15 p.m. Central, 5:15 p.m. Pacific, with game number 3 between the Atlanta Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals. The home field advantage now goes to the Braves. It's opening night at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. Hear the action right here on many of these same stations at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. The Cardinals and the Braves. Cardinals have won the first 2 games in St. Louis, 7-0 and 4-3. The Brewers bat in the bottom of the 7th. They trail 3-2. Don Money, Charlie Moore, and Jim Gantner scheduled to come up against right-hander Luis Sanchez in relief of Bruce Keeson. Keeson went the first 5. He stands to be the winner. But Sanchez will have to save it. Don Money takes Lowen outside. Don, 0 for 2, is struck out and fouled out. And the Brewer fans, inning by inning, getting louder and louder. Money tried to go to right, fouled it away. And the count evens out at 1 ball and 1 strike. It is now twilight in Wisconsin. The temperature, which was 60 degrees at game time, is dropping little by little. Inside to Don Money, ball 2, 2-1. Once again, that breeze is picked up. It's blowing toward the left field corner. 2-1, the count on Don Money. Breaking ball hit hard, but foul just by the bag at third. Money missed an extra base hit by inches.
Very close on that one.
2 balls, 2 strikes on the former Philly. Don Money has established defensive records in both the National and American leagues. Very fine player. Very solid. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, popped him up. On the infield, Rod Carew coming toward the pitcher's mound and makes the catch right on the front edge of the mound. So Money, after barely missing a double, pops to Rod Carew. That will bring up Charlie Moore, and Charlie has figured in one of the key plays in this game. Back in the California 5th, with 1 out, Reggie Jackson walked, and then Fred Lenz singled into right field. And Charlie Moore made a perfect throw to third baseman Paul Molitor to cut down Reggie Jackson trying to go from first to third. Right after that, Don Baylor singled, so without Charlie Moore's perfect throw, the Angels would have had a 4-2 lead. Charlie took a fastball under the chin, and I mean Sanchez had a little heat on that one. 1 ball and no strikes on Charlie Moore. Charlie 0 for 2, has 5 hits in the series. He's 5 for 12. Base is empty, 1 away, the pitch. A little looping pop-up behind the mound, everybody after it, and nobody can get it. No, they say out. They've called him out, and all the Brewers are out of the dugout claiming it was crap.
That'll be overruled, though, Denny, I think. Al Clark called him out, but the Chief Conkle came over and said, no, he's safe. He gave the safe sign with his hands, and then Kinga came out, too, and said he's safe. But he was called out by the first base umpire, Al Clark. He was blocked off, I think, by the fact that he was looking at the Rich from the back. He made a diving effort, but no doubt about it, he showed up.
The ball was easily on the ground. Al Clark was screened off. So they have made the proper call, and that's the important thing. So the Brewers have one on with one out. Up comes Jim Gantner, a native of Wisconsin. Jim has walked and popped out to second. That is only the fourth hit for the Milwaukee Brewers. The tying run is at first, one away. Charlie Moore draws the throw and is back. Actually, the pitcher, Luis Sanchez, would have had the best chance to capture that little pop-up.
Yeah, he could have backed up 4 or 5 steps and maybe caught him.
Another toss over to first, the runner back. Right-hander Steve Renko, left-hander Andy Hassler working now in the California bullpen. The pitch to Gantner, line to center field, base hit. Charlie Moore will stop at second. So here in the bottom of the seventh, the Brewers have the tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first. And the fans here at County Stadium all standing and roaring.
That one almost took Sanchez apart. A line drive right straight through the middle. He got his glove up in reflexive action, but it didn't do any good.
And now Paul Molitor, who has yet to be retired in the game. He has singled, walked, and doubled. He has scored one of the 2 Milwaukee runs. Stadium in Bedlam right now. The fans almost insisting that the Brewers rally. Here's the pitch to Molitor. What a cut he had. He fouled it off, strike one. 0-1 on the Brewers' third baseman.
That 70-foot single by Charlie Moore might turn out to be a very big hit in this game.
Ernie, I saw that ball go up and everybody chasing it, and I thought of Billy Martin's catch in the World Series in 1952.
Right. Now, Billy had a little higher one to get to, but it was a good one.
1 strike to count on Molitor. 2 on, 1 away. The stretch, the pitch. High and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Paul Molitor with 6 hits in this series. 2 homers, 5 RBIs. Right-hander against right-hander. Charlie Moore at second, Jim Gantner at first, 3-2 California. Here is the pitch. Popped it up. Foul territory. Bob Boone off with a mass. The wind moving it around. And Boone still makes the catch. He hung right with it. A tough, tough play for the California catcher, Bob Boone. He started straight back behind home plate and ended up going toward the California dugout as the wind, which has been blowing toward the left field corner, kept pushing that ball to his right. So a very tough play by Bob Boone. And now here is Robin Yount. Robin in this game is grounded to second, bounced into a double play, and drawn a base on balls. So the man that many feel will be the American League's most valuable player for the year is up there with a tying run at second and the lead run at first. 2 out in the 7th, his team trailing 3-2. Luis Sanchez checking with Boone for the sign. Here's the stretch. Here's the pitch. Strike on the outside corner, a fastball. It's 0-1. Sanchez, a power pitcher. Runners lead away. Here's the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Yount. Way outside and low, and it's 1-1. Bob Boone would like a word with his pitcher. Rod Carew is also coming over. We are in the bottom of the 7th, 3-2 in favor of California. The Angels got 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Milwaukee 1 in the first and 1 in the fourth. The Angels have out hit the Brewers 9-5. Charlie Moore at second. He reached on that little pop infield single. Jim Gantner is at first. He drilled a single into center. strike on Robin Young, right-handed batter. Here is the 1-1 pitch. Inside, 2-1. So Sanchez and Boone working the ball in and out on Robin Yount. Boone would have liked that fastball on the inside corner, but it was too far inside. And now the count favors Yount. 2-1. Sanchez nodding yes. The pitch. Curveball, and it's fouled away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the innings go by, each pitch gets more and more important. This is a very big pitch for Luis Sanchez with a count 2-2. If he runs the count full, then the Brewers obviously will have the added offensive advantage of the runners in motion. Charlie Moore from second, Jim Gantner from first, so Gantner would have a chance to score on any kind of an extra base hit. Once again, Rod Carew has joined the meeting now. Sanchez does not speak or understand English that well. Rod Carew, I think, here is more or less acting as an interpreter. They want to make sure they know exactly what they're doing. There's no margin for error now. Very simply, the winner of this game goes to the World Series. 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 to Robin Yount. And this is a very big pitch for the California right-hander. So let's see what he throws and where he throws it. The stretch. The pitch. Fastball, and he fouled it off, and Yount had a good swing, and it's still 2-2. Everybody on the edge of their seats at County Stadium, although many of the fans in the outfield and down the lines are still standing. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Robin Yount. He is looking for his first RBIs in this series. He's up there in an RBI spot. The pitch. Curveball, fouled away. Robin had a good swing at that breaking ball, which Sanchez had up a little bit. Cecil Cooper kneeling in the on-deck circle, taking everything in. Again, Sanchez, the 2-2 pitch to Yount. High, and it's 3-2, and that's what he didn't want to do. Now the runners will go. Charlie Moore from second, Jim Gantner from first, and Sanchez has run out the string on Yount. Now the crowd begins to roar. Here's the stretch. Here's the pitch. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Walk number 1, surrendered by Luis Sanchez. Here is Cecil Cooper. Cooper facing Sanchez for the first time. He struck out twice against Peason. He also reached on an error. Sanchez threw a slider 3-2 to Robin Yount and got the pitch up and in. Now just a single could put the Brewers out in front. The tying run at third, lead run at second. Yount at first, the pitch to Coop. Hit hard but foul as he swung very late on that pitch. Strike 1. Sanchez quickly out in front of Cecil Cooper. Cooper, 2 out of 19 so far in the series. Here's the stretch. A 1-strike pitch. Outside, and it's evened out at 1 ball and 1 strike. The Brewers with the bases loaded and 2 out in the bottom of the 7th. California clinging to a 3-2 lead. 1 ball and 1 strike on Cecil Cooper. The pitch. Line to left field. Base hit. The game is tied. Here comes Jim Gantner to the plate. The throw to the plate. Safe. drilled a single into left. Charlie Moore scores the tying run. Jim Gantner scores the go-ahead run. And the Brewers lead 4-3 as Cooper drives in his third and fourth runs of the series. And County Stadium is a madhouse. And out comes California manager Gene Locke. The switch hitter Ted Simmons is coming up. Robin Yount on that play, stopping at second base, so the Brewers have runners at first and second. And we'll see if Gene Locke makes a move toward his bullpen. He will go to a left-hander. So Andy Hassler will get the call. Sanchez, after retiring Don Money, the leadoff man, yielded singles to Charlie Moore and Jim Gantner. And Sanchez himself could have helped his cause by fielding the little pop-up hit by Charlie Moore behind the mound. Instead, he backed away. All the infielders converged. Bobby Grich came the closest. He made a headlong dive, but could not make the catch. Charlie Moore had an infield single. Then Gantner drilled a single to center. Molitor fouled out to Bob Boone, but then Robin Yount walked, and Cecil Cooper drilled a single to left, driving in Charlie Moore and Jim Gantner to put the Brewers out in front. And Andy Hassler will be the new California pitcher. So as Andy makes his way in from the California bullpen, we will pause for this.
WMAQ. For 80 years, Buick has had a love affair with the automobile, right down to today's state-of-the-art Century. With its very efficient form, it offers an EPA estimated MPG of 24. Use estimated MPG for comparisons. Actual mileage may be different. And in the best Buick tradition, Century has a remarkably luxurious passenger environment. 80 years of Buick went into the 83 Century. You see, Buick's love affair with the automobile isn't getting older. It's getting better.
What's 5 Foot-ish does its homework every night and is on CBS TV this fall.
Square peg, square peg, square peg. We're both in a class of our own. For sure, for sure. Trouble is we're in it alone. Right, totally. Square peg, square peg, square peg. We're the straightest day. The high school scenes. People laugh at us on their TV screens. Square peg, square peg, square peg.
Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on CBS TV.
The Brewers lead it now, 4-3 over California. Seventh inning, 2 on, 2 out, and the Brewer fans all on their feet, and they're going wild. New pitcher for California, the big left-hander Andy Hassler. He's appeared in one of the games in the series, worked 1 1/3 innings, and not allowed a run nor a hit. So Sanchez is out of the game, and the rookie right-hander gave up in 1 2/3 innings 2 runs and 3 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 1. And here's Simmons ready to step in against Hassler, and here's Denny Matthews.
All right, Ernie. County Stadium, a madhouse right now. Runners at first and second. 2 down. Ted Simmons up there right-handed. Andy Hassler, hands on his knees, checking with Boone, and now time called by the plate umpire as some fans in the right center field bleachers had draped a banner over the railing. And now just as quickly they remove it, and we're set to go. 2 on, 2 out, 4-3 Milwaukee. Hassler's pitch, curveball is grounded foul outside third. 0-1 on Ted Simmons. Ted is 0 for 2. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first. Grounded out in the fourth, line to left, facing Sanchez in the sixth. Robin Yount at second. Cecil Cooper, the man of the hour, is at first. Cooper turned a 3-2 California lead into a 4-3 Milwaukee advantage. Simmons didn't want to do it, but he went around, strike 2, and it's 0-2. 4 runs on 6 hits for Milwaukee. 3 runs on 9 hits for the Angels. This game for the American League Championship. 2 on, 2 out, 2 strikes on Simmons. Hassler the stretch and Andy's pitch. Breaking ball drilled hard but foul into the crowd down the left field line. And it's still 0-2. So Andy Andy Hassler walking around the mound, rubbing up the ball. The outfield playing Ted Simmons toward left. Runners lead away. Yount from second, Cooper from first. Hassler comes set and now steps off the pitching rubber. 2 singles, a walk, and then a 2-run single by Cecil Cooper. That's the Milwaukee 7th. Signal given. Andy Hassler ready and pitches. Low for a ball. It's 1-2. Simmons scoring fly ball back in the first inning gave Ted his first run batted in of the series. Ogilvie got his first RBI with his 4th inning home run. And Yount is still without a run batted in. But he drew a key walk in this inning. He's at second. Cooper's at first. 1-2 on Ted Simmons, the pitch. Foul ball coming back and out of play. And it's still 1-2 on Ted. The Angels in their 8th will have the middle of their order, Lynn, Baylor, and DeCinces. Well, we saw yesterday that the Angels do not roll over and play dead. They came storming back from a big deficit yesterday. They did fall short, but I've got a feeling the Angels are yet to be heard from in this game. 1-2 the count on Ted Simmons. Andy Hassler at the belt brings it home. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Andy Hassler got Simmons with a breaking ball, and the inning is over. But the Brewers come up with 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 2. And at the end of 7, it's Milwaukee 4, California 3.
Central Tire keeps you on the road. Central Tire has brand names you know.
Like Michelin, who invites you to the grand opening of Central Tire's 4th and newest Chicago location on Chicago's far south side. Central Tire celebrating with grand opening savings at all 4 Central Tire Michelin locations. Save up to 40% off on Michelin tires, both foreign and domestic. Take advantage of tremendous savings in all Michelin tires, including passenger and light truck tires for vans, pickups, and RVs. Save up to 40% on Michelin tires. All tires purchased include free mounting and free balancing. Visa and MasterCharge accepted. Central Tire now with 4 Chicagoland locations, including 18th in Indiana, Cottage Grove near Cermak, Roosevelt near Austin and Cicero, and their newest Michelin tire location just off Calumet Expressway on Doty between 115th and 130th Street exits. For more details, see Central Tire's ad in Thursday's Sun Times.
Central Tire.
WMAQ.
Along with Ernie Harwell, this is Denny Matthews at County Stadium, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Marshall Edwards has gone into play center field now for Gorman Thomas. Thomas hobbled with a bad knee. He injured the knee sliding home in yesterday's game. So Ogilvie's in left. Edwards is in center. And Charlie Moore in right. And here is Fred Lynn, 3 singles and 2 RBIs in this game. Lynn is now 11 out of 17 in the 5 games. 54,968, the largest crowd for the 3 games here in Milwaukee. Bob McClure, the left-hander, pitches to Lynn. Curveball, a beauty, strike 1. McClure came on in the 7th with 1 on and 1 out. And with 1 pitch, retired the side as Reggie Jackson grounded into a double play. The 0-1 delivery. Breaking ball outside, and the count is evened out. 1 ball and 1 strike. No longer, of course, can Keeson be a winner. And there's no way that Vukovic can lose it. So both starting pitchers are off the hook. Fastball in on the hands, swung and missed by Lynn. The count 1-2. This game now belongs to Bob McClure and Luis Sanchez. 1-2, the count to Fred Lynn with Don Baylor on deck. The left-hander's pitch. Curve had him reaching, and a fly ball to short left. In comes Ben Ogilvy, and there's one away. Fred Lynn retired for the first time today. Here's Don Baylor, who hit the grand slam home run yesterday. So far in this one, Don Baylor 1 out of 3, a fifth-inning single. Bob McClure nodding yes to the sign. Here's the pitch to Baylor. Curve, and he rolled it foul over the top of the California dugout. Strike one. Bob McClure, as he delivers to the plate, turns his back to the hitter, somewhat like a left-handed Luis Tion, somewhat like Atlanta's Gene Garber. In other words, the hitter sees a lot of the number. And McClure has a rather unusual number for a pitcher, 10. Fastball missed the outside corner in the count, 1-1. You normally associate a low number like 10 with a position player, but Bob McClure has always liked the number, and there it is. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Change is fouled back to the screen. It's 1-2. 4-3 Milwaukee. We're in the top of the 8th. Base is empty, one away. 1-2 the count on Baylor. The outfield, as you would expect, deep and around toward left. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Curve hit hard but foul. Preston Gomez coaching at third, watching it whiz by, and the count's still 1-2 on Don. The Sensei to follow. The Brewers have been out hit 9-6, but lead 4-3. McClure to Baylor. Fastball is high and outside. So he's keeping the fastball away. He's throwing the breaking ball in. Baylor hit a slider which didn't slide much, according to Haas in yesterday's game. Breaking ball in the hands, pulled foul. Actually, given the location of the breaking stuff that McClure has been throwing Baylor, that's about all Don can do with that pitch, is pull it foul. McClure asking the plate umpire, Don Dinkinger, for another baseball. One out in the top of the 8th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here is the pitch. There's a long drive to left. He got a fastball inside. Back goes Edwards to the wall. Leaps and makes the catch. Marshall Edwards just inserted into the game because of the injury to Gorman Thomas. Leaping high against the fence in left center. He banged into the wall, held on to the ball for out number 2. And they show the play once more on the Giants scoreboard. Out beyond the wall and right, and that brings another roar from this delirious crowd at County Stadium. So Harvey Keene, the Milwaukee manager, making the right move at the right time. With that sore knee, there was no way that Gorman Thomas would have gotten to that ball. And Edwards, Ernie, had one other thing going for him. He's left-handed, and he had that glove on the right hand. And what a catch he made. Here's Doug DeCinces. McClure's fastball is driven into right field for a base hit. DeCinces around first, thinking about second, but Moore fires the ball into the infield, and DeCinces held to a long single.
Talking about Marshall Edwards, he'd had some eye problems. He had a little infection. He had to change his contact lenses, and I would say the change was for the better.
Outstanding play by Marshall Edwards. Of course, yesterday, Harvey Keene had to go to his bench, and out came Mark Brohard, and he was a big name yesterday, so when Harvey has gone to the bench, why, the subs have responded.
And he brought in McClure in the 7th inning. McClure threw one pitch, got a double play to end a little bit of a threat there and save Vukovich in that inning. And then Edwards does it here in the 8th.
A meeting at the mound, that breaks up, and Bob Gritch to the plate. Bob is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Don Sutton and Peter Ladd are throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen back of Bob McClure. 1 on with 2 out. That's the tying run at first. The go-ahead run at the plate. Bob McClure's pitch to Bobby Grich, way outside, ball 1. I thought, Ernie, when Don Baylor made contact, that ball had a chance to get into the seats for a home run.
Well, you were right. It didn't miss by more than a foot or so.
1 ball, no strikes. McClure to the plate with a curve that is high, and now the count is 2-0.
He hit it about the same area that he hit his grand slam yesterday. Not quite high enough.
Doc Medich throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen alongside the left-hander, or rather alongside Peter Ladd. There's a high drive to center, pretty well hit, but Edwards back near the warning track, pounds the glove and makes the catch. Bob McClure did not allow Grich to pull the ball. He hit it hard, but it's 4-0-2 to the deepest part of the ballpark. No runs, 1 hit, 1 sensational catch, and 1 left. We go now to the bottom of the 8th. It's Milwaukee 4, California 3.
WMAQ. You gotta reach deep inside.
We've all felt it.
Come on, bring out that pride.
The challenge to make every effort count in all we do to bring out the best.
Bring out your best. Bring out your best. Bring out your best.
The challenge for us was to brew a light beer worthy of the king of beers. One with a clean, distinctive taste. Budweiser Light lived up to the challenge.
Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light.
To brew Budweiser Light, it took time, patience, and a commitment to quality. But then, the best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Buick, we believe that a car that gives you more miles from the gas tank doesn't have to give you less of anything else. That's the philosophy that makes our Skylark quite possibly the best disguised economy car in America. Striking good looks, a stylish, comfortable interior with generous room for 5 are combined with a remarkable 27 EPA estimated MPG. Use estimated MPG for comparison. Actual mileage may be different. Buick Skylark, economy beautifully disguised.
It's 4-3 Milwaukee. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Andy Hassler ready to work to Ben Ogilvie. Ogilvie, 1 out of 3, a home run. The first pitch is a breaking ball inside. A 2-run single by Cecil Cooper in the 7th inning, putting the Milwaukee Brewers out in front. 1 ball, no strikes. Hassler to the plate. Popped up into short right center. Over comes Fred Lynn to make the catch, and there's 1 away. Then Ogilvie flies to center. Here comes Marshall Edwards, who made that fine catch on the long drive hit by Don Baylor. Marshall Edwards, a left-handed hitter. Andy Hassler gets the sign from Bob Boone and goes to work on Marshall Edwards. Low and outside. This is Edwards' first appearance at the plate.
Here's the man that likes to bunt.
So Doug DeCinces, quite shallow at third, watching for the bunt. And Marshall takes a hack at a breaking ball and misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. We gave you the attendance figure for today, 54,968. 1-1 pitch to Edwards is fouled away. A 5-game attendance record for the American League Championship Series has been established. 5-game total of 284,691. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Marshall Edwards. In comes Hassler's pitch. Slider missed the outside corner at the knees, 2-2. Base is empty, one out. The 2-2 pitch on the way. A ground ball back to the pitcher, and Hassler throws to first in time. Hassler threw a pitch up and in, and Edwards, looking for a breaking ball away, started to swing, tried to check, made contact, and rolled the ball right back to the pitcher. And then Marshall landed on the seat of his pants in the batter's box, a rather inglorious position.
Well, he was sort of jammed and he couldn't get out of the way. Well, got off balance.
So Marshall back in the dugout, and here is Don Money. Don takes outside, ball one. Looking ahead to the California ninth inning, it will be Tim Foley, Bob Boone, and Brian Downing. 1-0 pitch to Don Money. On the inside corner at the knees, Andy with the breaking pitch. One ball and one strike on the Brewers' designated hitter. 4-3 Milwaukee. The pitch. High fly ball, well hit left center, but Lynn has plenty of room and makes the catch to retire the side. 1, 2, 3 and out. Hassler has faced 4 and retired 4. Here we go to the ninth. It is Milwaukee 4, California 3.
WMAQ.
If you want an agent who can help uncomplicate your family insurance, check with State Farm. Today's economy is affecting insurance protection, and a lot of people are glad they have their family insurance with a State Farm agent. They're glad they have someone who understands their home, car, life, and health insurance, and just one number to call for personal one-to-one service. Check your yellow pages for the State Farm agent near you. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This fall from Motorcraft. Get up to $9.50 in refunds on some of the highest quality automotive products you can buy for any make of car. Save up to $4 on Motorcraft spark plugs and $1 on Motorcraft oil and air filters. Save $1.50 on 5 quarts of Motorcraft oil. Plus, get $2 in bonus refunds on qualifying purchases. See your Motorcraft retailer for details now through November 30th. Motorcraft automotive products from Ford for the future of your car, for sure.
For over 100 years, we Americans have been fascinated with baseball. To each of us, it has a meaning all its own. Here is what baseball means to Lowell Cohn, the well-known San Francisco newspaperman. The entire meaning of baseball is time. Baseball is how we get even with those relentless seconds and minutes and hours of life. While the game is being played, time miraculously changes. Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
We go now to the ninth inning. 4-3 in favor of the Milwaukee Brewers. And Bob McClure getting set to work the ninth. Ron Jackson has come out as a pinch hitter. Ron Jackson, who hit .331 during the regular season, with 2 homers and 19 RBIs, stockily built right-handed batter. Bob McClure entered the game in the 7th. Threw 1 pitch to end the 7th inning. He threw a double play ball to Reggie Jackson. Gave up a long drive to left center by Don Baylor in the 8th, which was caught. An opposite field single to DeCinces, and then Gritch hit the ball to deep center field. So the Angels now down to their final 3 outs. The Brewers leading by 1. The Angels have out-hit Milwaukee 10-6. So everybody now here at County Stadium on the edge of their seats. Here is McClure's pitch to Jackson. Ground ball, base hit center field. Ron Jackson opens the 9th with a single, and the Angels have the tying run at first with nobody out, and here comes Bob Boone. Bob, of course, as we've mentioned, a very accomplished bunter. He has proven that with a couple of squeeze bunts. Out comes Milwaukee manager Harvey Keene. So Ron Jackson making his first appearance in the American League Championship Series, singles solidly to center. Mike Caldwell and Peter Ladd are throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen. And Harvey Keene motions toward the bullpen, and they will make a pitching change. Peter Ladd has done exceptional work. Of course, we've talked about the absence of Raleigh Fingers, and there was some talk, you'll remember, before the first game in Anaheim, that Fingers could be used if he was needed. But Raleigh said, the best I could do would be to pitch to maybe 2 or 3 hitters. And I have no idea how my control would be. I have no idea how my stuff would be. And I guess, Ernie, when you hear something like that, why, as a manager, you wouldn't have that much confidence even in a pitcher of the stature of Raleigh Fingers. He's been so outstanding down through the years, but an injured pitcher is an injured pitcher.
Absolutely, and Harvey Keene went to the big right-hander Peter Ladd, and he did such a great job in that first game, and then he did a perfect job the next time out. Well, we'd like to alert our stations that a local break is coming up. Well, Mr. Ladd coming in from the bullpen. He's not right in the car yet, and they're waiting for him at the mound. So far in this series, Ladd has worked in those 2 games. He's pitched 2 1/3 innings. He has struck out 5 hitters. He has not allowed a run. He has not given up a hit. So the big guy from New England trudges in now. He's not going to ride. He wants to walk all the way. He wants to use those 15 quadruple E's. And won't take too long. He puts them down one at a time with it. Let's give our stations a chance for a message here, and we'll continue in just a moment.
WMAQ.
It's Athletes versus MS. We're at Lime Rock Auto Track in Connecticut. Meet Ron Gagne.
I used to race cars, but it takes a lot of coordination and quick response. I had it until MS, multiple sclerosis, attacked my central nervous system.
With Ron Gagne, Paul Newman, actor and fellow race driver, and his racing teammate, Terry Knight.
My teammate Terry and I race against the clock, just like Ron here. We want to beat multiple sclerosis before it beats him. You see, multiple sclerosis doesn't just cripple. So we all have to find a cure before it's too late. Help us get Ron back on the road to good health. Send a check to the MS Society. When you help, we all win.
This message has been brought to you by the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, 205 East 42nd Street, New York City, 10017.
Pete Ladd, a rookie, getting a chance now to do his thing in a very precarious moment as far as the Angels are concerned. A big right-hander. He's a hard thrower. And as I mentioned before the break, he has been perfecto so far. So he takes over. Vukovic started. McClure relieved in the 7th inning, and now Ladd takes over in the 9th with a man on and nobody down for California. Now the Californians have used Keeson as their starter, then Sanchez in the 6th inning, and Hassler in the 7th. So things are getting pretty tight here, Denny Matthews.
Ernie, Pete Ladd appeared out in Anaheim, of course, in Tuesday night's opener. He appeared in the 7th inning. He faced Reggie Jackson, Fred Lynn, and Rod Carew. He struck out all 3 men. And we mentioned at the time that would no doubt bolster Peter Ladd's confidence, and he showed that in his relief appearance here on Friday. We have Rob Wilfong running for Ron Jackson. So Rob Wilfong running for Ron Jackson, who singled. Here is Boone. Bob, 2 out of 3. Milwaukee leading 4-3. The Angels have the tying run at first. Bob Boone at the plate. Peter Ladd into the stretch. Boone around the bunt. Gets the bunt down. It's a good one. Peter Ladd's only play is at first. The underhands. And Gantner takes the throw for the out. It'll be a sacrifice 1-4. Now the tying run is in scoring position. And Brian Downing and Rod Carew will try to get the game tied. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Brewers. 3 runs, 11 hits for California. The Angels have stranded 7. They left 6 runners in the first 5 innings. Remember way back in the 5th when we mentioned that the Angels had missed some excellent scoring opportunities. Well, they're now trailing by 1. And think back, too, to that throw made by Charlie Moore, getting Reggie Jackson trying to go from first to third. Brian Downing at the plate. Peter Ladd brings it home. And a breaking ball is high and tight, ball 1. Downing in this game has doubled. Laid down a sacrifice bunt, grounded into a double play, and tapped back to the mound. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball outside corner, strike called. It's 1-1. Rob Wilfong at second. 1 out in the California ninth. The Brewers 2 outs away from a World Series berth. The Angels 1 hit away from getting the game tied. Peter Ladd looking in at Simmons. Here's the stretch. And now the 1-1 pitch to Downing. Tapped it foul. Strike 2, and it's 1-2. Peter Ladd came into the game on Friday afternoon in the 8th inning. He got to Doug DeCinces on a ground ball to third, and then worked a 1-2-3 ninth inning, getting Gritch, Wilfong, and Boone. Striking out both Wilfong and Boone. 1-2 on Downing. Here's the stretch. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball to third. Tough hop. But Molitor's got it. Throw to first in time. Brian Downing grounds out to Paul Molitor. Molitor had a tough hop to handle, but he stayed with it and made the play. And now the Angels are down to their final out. But representing that final out is one of the toughest outs in all of baseball, Rod Carew.
And he'll be facing a rookie pitcher from Portland, Maine, who has pitched for less than a half a season in the big league.
What a confrontation. Rod Carew, who will be using all of his experience, all of his guile. The tying run at Second County Stadium in an uproar. Peter Ladd to the plate. Foul ball out of play. Third base side, strike 1. Rod Carew with 2 walks in the game. He's 0 for 2 officially. A base hit could tie it. An out, and the Brewers are American League champions. Everybody standing. Here is the 1-strike pitch to Rod Carew. Low and inside, and it's evened out at a ball and a strike. Even in this tense situation, Rod Carew with a very low tension level, holding that bat so loosely. 1 ball, 1 strike. Peter Ladd brings it home. Bouncing ball foul outside first, and now the count 1-2. So now Peter Ladd has gotten it all down to just 1 strike. Rod Carew struck out 3 times in the first game. He's been bothered by a sore wrist, but he still remains very tough to strike out. Peter Ladd giving this next pitch a lot of thought off to the side of the mound. Now he climbs the hill and he's set to go to work. 1-2. Tying run at second, 2 out of the 9th. Here is the pitch. Ground ball to the shortstop. Yount has got it. The Brewers are the American League champions. The Milwaukee Brewers have won the American League Championship with a 4-3 win over the California Angels and a wild celebration on the field. The players have literally been swallowed up in all the humanity out there as the fans celebrate Milwaukee's first American League pennant. Of course, the Milwaukee Braves were National League champions, but now a World Series coming to Milwaukee with an American League representative. Robin Yount threw out Rod Carew to end the ball game, and tremendous relief work done by Peter Ladd. 4-3 the final score, and the Milwaukee Brewers become the first team in League Championship Series history to lose the first 2 games, only to come back and win the last 3 and gain the championship.
Great triumph for Milwaukee. After 13 years, this franchise comes up with a winner. The Brewers came very close. Last year, they won the second half of the American League season and then lost to the New York Yankees in the mini-series. But now they've got it all. The American League pennant will fly here in Milwaukee.
And Ernie, we might look back on a couple of big defensive plays. Certainly the one that we talked about at the time, Charlie Moore throwing out Reggie Jackson, trying to go from first to third in the 5th inning on the single by Fred Lynn. If Charlie Moore does not make a perfect throw to third base, the Angels have runners at first and third with 1 out. And following Fred Lynn's single, a single by Don Baylor. So Charlie Moore's throw prevented the Angels from scoring an additional run. And the way things went later in the game, that was a run that they could have sorely used. And because of Charlie's big play, it gave the Brewers a chance to come back. And come back they did. A single by Cecil Cooper, with the bases loaded and 2 out in the 7th inning, proved to be the decisive hit in this contest.
And a great catch by young Marshall Edwards out in the outfield contributed to the Milwaukee victory.
Now we're going to give our stations a chance for a message. Let's pause for this word.
Talk baseball with Pearsall after the game on WMAQ. Sports Vision is on the air. Major League Sports in your home every day of the year. The White Sox, the Sting, the Bulls, the Blackhawks, and more at less than 70 cents a day. Order now and get tickets to home games worth up to $180.
Tonight on Sports Vision at 7 p.m., the Chicago Bulls battle the New York Knicks in a preseason game. Don't miss all the exciting action. Call 693-9200 and plan on ordering Sports Vision first thing tomorrow.
Fight back against high heating costs this winter with an energy-efficient Aladdin kerosene heater from True Value Hardware Stores. Hi, Pat Summerall to say the 9,600 BTU Temprite 9 radiant heater and the 15,200 BTU Equator convection heater are both UL listed and operate for pennies an hour. And you'll find them value priced now at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers. Some locations restrict sale or use. Check local codes for permitted uses and read instructions carefully.
WMAQ.
Well, the Brewers are the champions of the American League, but it started off with the California Angels getting first on the board. Brian Downing led off with a double. Went to third on a throwing error by Molitor. And then Fred Lynn stepped up to the plate. Left-hand batter waiting. Here's the pitch. Swing. There's a line drive base hit to left field. In the score comes Downing, and California has a 1-0 lead. Ogilvy bobbles the ball, and on to second goes Lynn. He is safe at second base with 2 down, 1 run in. California leads Milwaukee in the first inning 1-0. Then the Brewers came back and tied it on a double by Molitor, a bounce out by Robin Yount, and a sacrifice fly off the bat of Simmons to make it 1-1. But the Angels went ahead again in their third inning. Bob Boone ran up with a single, sacrificed to second. A walk to Carew, a strikeout of Reggie Jackson with 2 out. Up stepped the same Freddie Lynn. And the big right-hander holds it, and now here's a bounding ball to left. It'll be a base hit. Coming around third now is Boone. He's headed home. The ball gets by Ogilvy. Boone will score. On the second will go Lynn, and holding at third is Rod Carew, and a 2-1 lead for California. Then California made it 3-1 in the 4th inning on a double by DeCinci. A sacrifice error sent him to second base, and he came on a beautiful bunt single by Bob Boone to make it 3-1. But the Brewers still were fighting, and in the fourth inning, after Simmons bounced to first base, Ben Ogilvie stepped up. Now, Keeson, the right-hander, delivers. Is a fly ball, and it's deep to right, and this one is gone. It's a home run for Ogilvie to cut the lead to 3-2. So the game rocked along until the seventh inning, when the Brewers, with one man out, sent Charlie Moore to the plate. Charlie hit a little weak pop fly back of the mound over the head of Luis Sanchez, the new pitcher. Bobby Grich started. Carew came in. He couldn't reach it. Grich seemed to catch the ball. At least it was signaled out by Al Clark. But the other umpires overruled Al. Bill Kunkel overruled him. And it was ruled a single by Charlie Moore, and a very important hit, because Gatta then followed with a single. And after Molitor popped up, Robin Yount walked to load the bases. And that brought up Cecil Cooper with the key hit of the game.
1 ball and 1 strike on Cecil Cooper. The pitch. Line to left field. Base hit. The game is tied. Here comes Jim Gander to the plate. The throw to the plate. Safe.
So 2 runs ahead, and the Milwaukee Brewers took the lead 4-3, and they went ahead to win it, as McClure was the loser, and Sanchez was the winning pitcher. And let's pause for this word.
Channel 5 News brought you the facts about unscrupulous real estate shysters and exposed them as home snatchers.
I want my property in my own name, clear the way it was.
We brought you the truth when Commonwealth Edison looked the other way as contractors ripped them off, and nuclear plant security proved inadequate.
You and your fellow guards couldn't stop them.
No, we'd be dead.
When disaster struck in the middle of Chicago and miles away in northern Indiana, Channel 5 News broke the story first, before other TV stations even mentioned it.
This will be a very complex investigation. Things like this just shouldn't happen.
Whether it's foreign affairs or domestic issues, human interest, human tragedy, or human rights, whether it takes months to come together or minutes to come apart, you can depend on Channel 5 News. At noon, 4:30, 6, and 10. Channel 5 News. News that hits home.
WMAQ.
Close, exciting game all the way here at County Stadium. Milwaukee, the champions of the American League. And let's give those totals once again. Milwaukee, the winners, with 4 runs, 6 hits, and 4 errors. And the losing California Angels, who put up a gallant fight, had 3 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. Bob McClure, the little left-hander, is the winning pitcher, and the rookie Luis Sanchez absorbs the loss for the California Angels. So Denny Matthews, they've got a lot to celebrate tonight in Milwaukee.
And celebrate they will, Ernie, because the Brewers, even though they were out-hit 11-6, and the Brewers making 4 errors to just 1 for California, managed to win the game on the base hit by Cecil Cooper. And you have to go back to those early innings when the California Angels had ample opportunity to increase their lead. In fact, I mentioned when I came on in the 5th inning that I'll bet you the Angels feel like they should be winning about 8 or 9-2, but they were not, because they stranded 6 runners in the first 5 innings, and sure enough, they left the Brewers in the game, and the Brewers hung around long enough to win it.
And the amazing thing is that the Angels won the first 2 games out in California. The series moved back here, and we all knew that it had to be a 3-game sweep by the Brewers, something that had never been done before, and yet they were able to do it.
And some unlikely heroes, certainly in the series, especially for the Milwaukee Brewers. Who would have thought that Mark Brohard would come off the bench? In fact, if it wasn't for the injury to Ben Ogilvie, he would have been sitting on the bench yesterday. Now some of the Brewers coming out in front of the dugout to take an additional bow, and the fans reacting to their appearance.
And you had Peter Ladd, that great relief pitcher that came in. Marshall Edwards made a great catch in the 8th inning. And the bottom part of the batting order was quite contributory there. Charlie Moore did a job, and Jim Gantner came through with some key hits in this series.
Ernie, I got it figured out here that Peter Ladd, in the 3 games in which he appeared, faced 10 Angels. He retired all 10 Angels that he faced. Now, granted, The first time that he pitched in Anaheim the other night when he struck out the side, that was not a pressure situation. The next two definitely were. Friday afternoon and certainly tonight, he was no different pitching under pressure than he was pitching last Tuesday night in Anaheim when he did strike out the three left-handed hitters.
Great scene out in front of the Milwaukee dugout. Sal Banda, who's been a part of this ball club, now an executive. Some of the players, Harvey Keene, the manager, who has gone through a leg amputation, a heart operation, a stomach operation, all kind of problems, took over the ball club in June and was the manager of this pennant-winning Milwaukee Brewers. They were hugging each other, and now the crowd is trying to get a little stiller than it was, and they'll try to move them out of here. But it looks like a great representative for the American League in the series, the Brewers. And I know that all American League fans are hoping that Gorman Thomas and Ogilvy and all the other fellows can get well before they have to meet the National League winner.
Well, it'll be an exciting World Series. The Brewers will meet either the Cardinals or the Braves, and either way it figures to be a great World Series because the trade between the Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals, that would spark some interest, and for sure the fact that the Milwaukee Braves moved to Atlanta, wouldn't it be something if the Braves met the Brewers in the World Series? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, Denny, it's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed working with you. A great job, and let's do it again sometime.
Ernie, I'd love to. Thank you.
CBS Radio Sports has been happy to bring you the 1982 American League Championship Series. Today's broadcast has been sponsored by Buick and your Buick dealer, by Chartan Truck Rental, by Delco Electronics, and by the State Farm Insurance Companies. Our engineer for the playoffs was Steve Kirsch of CBS Radio in New York. Our producer, David Kerman. Frank Miller is executive producer for CBS Radio Sports. Now, later today, on many of these same stations, you'll hear the third game of the National League Championship Series, the Atlanta Braves against the St. Louis Cardinals in Atlanta at 8:07. That's Eastern Time. And the winner of that series meets the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Series, scheduled to start Tuesday night if possible. Our congratulations again to the Brewers, the American League champions, defeating the Angels today 4-3. Along with Denny Matthews, this is Ernie Harwell from County Stadium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, saying so long for the CBS Radio Sports.
After the game, it's Jimmy Pearsall on WMAQ.
And Jimmy will be taking your calls at 591-4000. The area code is 312. It's 20 minutes away from 7 o'clock. How often are you stuck in traffic, frustrated while wasting time and expensive fuel? Well, make better use of that time. Learn to speak a foreign language while driving your car without opening a textbook. Call 858-1900 for the revolutionary Advanced Memory Research Language System. You can now learn a foreign language while doing the housework, relaxing, even at dinner. Just pop in a cassette or an 8-track and listen. The foreign language is always followed by the English translation. It's available in Spanish, French, German, and Italian. Learn by listening, the way you learned as a child. The AMR system is the perfect system for anyone too busy to put in hours of studying time. For information, call AMR at 858-1900. Call during business hours, and they'll be glad to explain the AMR system. Don't put it off, though. Call 858-1900. That's 858-1900. And Jimmy Pearsall standing by with Let's Talk Baseball at 591-4000. Coming up in just a minute. You know, when your car needs a muffler, think Fair Muffler, because Fair installs a top-quality product made to the original specification of your car. They can give you a better guarantee. Fair Muffler will take you into the shop and show you exactly what's wrong with your muffler or exhaust system. They'll let you know the price before the work begins, and then you decide if they should go ahead with the work. No obligation. Inspections are free, and Fair promises to replace only the parts that are needed. The Fair way of doing business is no surprises, except, in most instances, a surprisingly low price. Visit the Fair Muffler shop nearest you. They're located at the corner of 83rd and Cicero in Chicago, 111th and Cicero in Oak Lawn, 173rd Street and Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond, and 79th Street and Harlem Avenue in Burbank, and their newest location on Ridge Road in Hobart, Indiana. And if you don't live near any of these locations, you're going to find it's worth your drive to the Fair Muffler shop. So call Fair and compare their price, their quality, and their guarantee. You'll find it's a fair deal. Look in the yellow pages under mufflers for Fair Muffler Shop.
67 WM.
And it's a fair deal. Look in the yellow pages under mufflers for Fair Muffler Shops.
Now let's talk baseball on WMAQ.
Let's Talk Baseball with Jimmy Pearsall, brought to you by Central Tire, with 4 Chicagoland Michelin locations, including their newest location just off the Calumet Expressway at the 115th Street exit, and by the 20 Chicagoland Subaru dealers. See the yellow pages for the Subaru dealer nearest you. Well, here at 7:42, let's talk baseball, shall we, with Jimmy Pearsall.
Wow. Hi, everybody. Certainly a great ball game to watch, despite the fact that they made 4 errors. Milwaukee, they did everything you had to do when you make errors to win it. You know, you see Charlie Moore make the great play. He threw out Jackson at third base. That really helped. After Cooper had, on a sacrifice bunt, tagged a runner with the glove and he didn't have the ball in it, you kind of wonder, well, boy, things are really going against them, but nothing happened. They didn't score in that particular play. And then he gets the game-winning hit at the end. You know, this kind of makes you wonder when you keep bearing down and you never give up despite the fact that you made 4 errors. And then the bullpen. The bullpen for Milwaukee, much better than the bullpen for, one thing about California, they haven't had it all year. Gene Mock, you can't blame him this year. I'll tell you why. His bullpen did not do it. They got Corbett from Minnesota. They hoped he would do it, but it didn't happen. And today, his bullpen, Sanchez, didn't get it done. But it really fascinated me to see finally they put in Edwards in center field, because if you watched all day long, Thomas just could not run. He had his problems running, and one thing about it, he gave it his all, Thomas. He wanted to be in there. He felt one swing of the bat might get him a couple of runs, but Edwards made the catch in the 8th inning that might have saved a couple of runs if they got things going. So a lot of exciting things. The thing that really I enjoyed watching was that 70-foot single that the pitcher should have caught to start things off in that big inning for him when Moore hit that thing off the fist. And that's what happens when you don't make that type of play. Things seem to really hurt you. But Harvey Keene, boy, got to be the manager of the year, the most courageous guy. I'm happy I picked him, but when it was 0-2, I was really worried about it. But they had quite a ball club. But then today, when they were making all those errors, Ogilvy kicking the ball all around left field, especially twice on base hits to left field by Lynn. One time he had a chance for a play at the plate, never was able to throw it, but he hit a home run. So you see, it seemed like everything evened out, and the better team won. I always feel that whenever a team wins, they're the better team, no matter what anybody tells me about this or that. So, and also the strength of the Milwaukee bench. You know, Brohart came in and got 3 for 4 yesterday with the home run, and then Edwards today making a good catch. And then Ladd, of course, what can you say about this young man? Never faced pressure like this in his life with Fingers out. And I imagine Fingers did a lot of talking to him about pitching certain guys or maybe just coming in and throwing strikes, because it looked to me like he wasn't even worried about trying to throw anywhere but down the middle of the plate. You see the catches a lot of times will set up in different positions behind that plate. With him, it was right down the middle because his ball's alive. And Lynn, wow, 11 for 18 in the series. He finished the most valuable player, I guess. He hit 611, but it doesn't count. It did not do the job. Okay, let's go to the callers.
Okay, Jimmy, the electricity is definitely flowing in Milwaukee today.
So is the beer.
I guess so. Before we get to the calls, is it true that Milwaukee's the first team to overcome a 2-game deficit for the...
You're absolutely right. I guess it's about 11-year history of the playoffs, and it's awfully hard to come back. Now you got to see what Atlanta can do. Now they're 2 down, and they play tonight. And they may play until the middle of next week.
It's exciting. It really is.
It really is exciting, and it helps sports because with football on strike, this really takes up the slack.
Right. I'm not too sure if anybody even remembers football.
Well, I remember football. I feel sorry for everybody concerned because it's really a shame.
Yes, you're right. Okay, first call tonight, Jimmy from Chicago. William is on the line and wants to talk about Gene Mott. Go ahead, William.
Go ahead.
Hello, Jimmy.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to tell you something about Gene Mott. I think he made a mistake. He should have taken Luis Sanchez out of the game.
Okay, thank you very much for your call.
Okay, and now to Northbrook for Bob. Bob, you're on WMAQ.
Go ahead, Bob.
Jimmy?
Yes.
Jimmy, I'm reading Booton's book, Ball 4, Ball 5.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could tell me something about his personality. What kind of guy is he?
He's a phony. All those things he writes about ball players, he leaves himself out, and he's a hypocrite. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. I wonder if he's really down on Sal Magley in that book.
Well, he didn't even know Sal Magley. Sal Magley knocked people down, and that's the type of pitcher he was. But if that book was enjoyable to a lot of people, I guess, but to me, a lot of trash. I didn't enjoy it at all because he didn't put anything in there about himself, really, except the funny things, because he is not Mr. Pure. Thanks for your call.
Okay, Bob, and now to Chicago for Bill. You're on WMIQ with Jimmy Pearsall.
All right. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Hello, Jimmy.
Hi.
My name is Bill Young. I'm one of the black ball players that played against Harwell-Matthews American League All-Stars in 1927 before your times.
You know, it's amazing when you talk about the black teams. I had the good fortune
I played with the Black Rag Giants in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
All right, listen to him a second. I played against the black teams in the 50s, and it really helped me to get the experience because